morning, everybody. Okay, wow, we have a lot going on this morning. Skype's going like really nutty this morning. I don't know if it's us or it or whatever, but we're gonna get some things right out of the way done to make sure that people can hear us. Last time we had a little echo. I don't know why Demi is this way. What's going on with her? Want to write yourself, Demi? Can you mute it? There you go. There we go. That looks. Oh God! Don't do that. Give me vertigo. All right. So Cheshire, real quick, is there we go. Cheshire is really here, but not here. She has to do something with her internet real quick. And Nick is here, $400 suitor Nick. Nick. But he didn't get prettied up for this morning. I'm not kidding.
My suit's getting cleaned. I will not go on a stream without the $400 suit. And somebody was giving me a hard time about that too. Like, why is he always wearing the sports coat? Nobody figured out that I started wearing the sports coat at a very specific time. I don't go on.
I noticed this. Yes, I did notice this, by the way. But you didn't spend. Debbie took about an hour to get ready this morning, so she took some effort for this show. You just showed up, so whatever. So you're the 5% today.
True. I am. My bad.
He's the 5%er.
Yeah.
So outside chat, make sure you can hear us. By the way, welcome Anti-Ordinary, who's no longer on Twitter because Twitter hates her with a passion. This is like the fifth time.
My personality goes against terms of service.
Your personality violates TOS.
As soon as she was sending me a DM and it goes hello, but she just said HELL and then poof, she's gone.
She said hell, done. She used a bad word on Twitter. She can't be a part of Twitter any longer. Yeah, I've kind of like watched some of the words I use on Twitter because I know there's active people going around trying to deplatform people. I know Demi has been deplatformed. I know Sarah has been deplatformed. I know this is what they actively do, and so those people, most of them I haven't blocked, but just be safe than sorry because I know they're reporting a lot of stuff. But I've been reported like once or twice, but it's always come back. He did nothing wrong, so I'm not too worried about it. Cheshire, however, who's back now, she's in Twitter jail for pretty much absolutely nothing, but she's in a weird Twitter loop. Cheshire, you want to kind of explain what's going on with your Twitter real quick?
Explain
God,
all
right.
The Matrix.
This is
the
only going to
Mobius
take
Twitter.
3 days. Let me just break this down real quick. Actually, okay, so I got like false flag reported. What would I would probably make a reasonable guess to say it was the person that I was talking to that said they had 6 accounts, because 4 tweets, which I've read out before, which were mundane at best, got reported for violence and harassment. There was nothing violent. There was no harassment. Half of them weren't even responding to that person. They were responding to Manya, actually. So they got reported. I then said, absolutely not. These are not against the rules. So I put them up for to be audited for them to check. Appealed. So I waited a week. No appeal came back and it reset, and I had to restart the appeal. So I was just like, I talked to you guys and was like, all right, you know what, kid, it's been over a week. Sure, whatever. We're just gonna go. So I then undid it, and then it said, okay, so you're on suspended or whatever for a day and a bit. Then when I checked it next, it jumps to 6 days. And I was like, oh, all right, well, whatever. And then I was on it. I was doing some stuff. And then, so I couldn't tweet, can't like, can't retweet, the normal stuff. And now, after a couple of days, it was like 2 days went by. It went down to 4 days, and I got stuck in a loop of every time I try to open Twitter, it says there's an error. And then it brings me to the page saying that, oh, you can't do these things, you can still do your account suspended or restricted or whatever. And then I say okay and continue to Twitter, and then it goes to, oh, there was an error, and then just loops me back.
Did you clear your cache? Or?
Yeah, I logged out, did like nothing.
Yeah, so, and I watched her do this. By the way, I think Demi's Skype is messing up real quick, and everybody says, Demi, you look lovely today, so it was well spent effort to try to gussy yourself up for this. We appreciate the effort you put in the show. Okay, yeah. Unlike $400 suitor that spent 5 minutes getting ready, but yeah,
I don't remember spending 5 minutes, but okay.
I was being nice. I'm allowed to be nice once in my life, okay?
Well, yeah, I appreciate it.
I just realized I left my tea downstairs.
Oh yeah, Cheshire, I forgot her tea. How can we have? I got coffee in here. You can't see, but you gotta have it on faith. Caffeine corner, right? You gotta have caffeine. So that's the whole thing. We usually have some kind of caffeine while we're doing this. I'm gonna keep checking to see if Demi's back, but she's not. At least-
Literally, my phone is going to die. My life is dying, and I'm the most least professional motherfucker on the planet. And I'm running around my house trying to figure out a solution before
we gotta
I
get you a
die.
Chromebook or something one of these days, or something. I don't know. So you're looking for a charger? That's what you're doing?
Yeah, well, I found it. I've worked a solution of a like 7-meter long USB cable from my lounge into here. And then, bitch, hi, how are ya? Let's see.
One person says I look lovely too. Okay.
Hey.
See, Nick and I never get compliments. They always do the
I
women,
know.
right? They don't give a shit about us, right? Nick and I are on our own. It's we're not fishing for compliments, you know.
And I put
Not at
on,
all.
and I've been changing suits every single time. Nobody's figured. Not every time. I don't have that many $400 suits, but I've been changing them.
You have like one.
I've been
Nikki's mad at you.
Okay. Well,
Never get
allegedly.
compliments.
Allegedly. There she is. She's back. Yay.
Hi.
I was going to say, what a waste of all that work this morning to make yourself all gussied. By the way, it was funny. Tell about the wig, because that was hilarious.
I just literally done that like I always do. My wig went to Australia. It was gone. It was.
She just
Bye,
flipped her hair.
bye, hi.
It just went.
So if you
Bye,
guys in
hi.
Australia
She's done.
see some kind of unknown flying object,
It was
that's what
hilarious.
It's not the aliens. It's my weave.
Anyways, let's get started this morning. By the way, welcome to Caffeine Corner, where we kind of talk about the weekly recap of things that went on Twitter and kind of in the community. I know people always say this is drama, whatever. I don't even care to argue that point any longer. I don't think it is, but if you want to call it drama, hey, knock yourself out. If Demi's here, probably is drama because it's all about the drama. But fair enough. I really don't care one way or another what the word you use. I enjoy these things with Cheshire. It's fun, and we kind of just be able to explain certain concepts in a roundabout way by putting it towards or using things in the community that has happened to kind of explain these concepts. But there's still a lot of other contests going on. We had Rick Delano on the other night, so to kind of like start in order here of the agenda, I had Rick Delano, the screenwriter and producer of the movie The Principal. If you guys remember way back when, he was with Robert Sungenis. Both geocentrist. He's a young Earth creationist. He's literally the person out there promoting the idea that the Earth is stationary, non-rotational, and yeah, I don't know if you guys saw that Chester Demi, but that was a really bizarre interview.
That guy's bangs were messing with my every time he moved his head, his bangs were like, it was almost as if they were floating slightly off of his head. Also, I thought, yeah, they were adorable, but he's got two on, like he's got them split in the middle, and it was like a video game physics engine where they haven't quite finished attaching the hair to the head yet, where it was like there was like a delay, like so he would move his head and the bangs would like he definitely, like, I was really distracted by those, and also
yeah, that was wait, you were distracted by that, not the obnoxious interruptions that he was doing every 5 seconds when I was trying to explain very complicated concepts to people who actually like quantum mechanics, and he wouldn't let me get a word in.
There were so many times where you were like, okay, well, let's do super chats. Okay, let's do super chats. Okay, let's do. And one of them you interrupted yourself. All right, you were like, let's do super chats. Do you believe in black holes? And meanwhile, I'm just like, no wonder I get invited to the show, so we can actually read the super chats. But the other one, I thought he looked like he stepped right out of the Flintstones.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. He doesn't accept like gravitational waves. Like, he'll accept certain science when it conforms to his narrative. That is, by definition, confirmation bias. But he discounts like gravitational waves. He discounts evolution. By the way, the guy that he kept referencing, Wolfgang Smith, is against Darwinian evolution. He thinks evolution is bullshit. He's a smart guy. I mean, the guy has some legit stuff. But I'm sorry, whenever you start saying things like evolution's false or general relativity is false, to me, you recuse yourself from the realm of science. You're no longer in science. You're fringe. You're just basically somebody who has a agenda or bias that you're trying to convince people something that you want to be the case, and just selectively cherry picking the science because we all know evolution exists. So, but yeah, he doesn't believe black holes. It's like, well, what do you call these things that we can actually see and well, we don't see them. We see their effects. They're black
We got
and they're
that
kind of
one
like a hole in
picture
space. And general relativity prediction. What do you want to call them?
I don't know, a divot.
A divot
A
in
black
space.
hole by any other name would still suck so much.
Yeah, I mean, the funniest part is he knows these terms, right? I mean, Rick Delano clearly has read some of these things. He understands the terms, but he also knows, I think, that most people haven't, and he can basically use these terms to obfuscate the points that people are bringing up. Like, for example, I've seen him in different arguments or debates where people bring up some very valid points, but he'll just switch to modes to something else. He'll just like gish gallop something else. He'll say, "Oh, well, what about this?" Like, for example, we went from the CMB, and all of a sudden, then we were, going into quantum mechanics and then ontology. And every time we started talking about a particular point, he kept interrupting me when I was trying to explain to the audience what the hell we were talking about. Because not everybody in the audience knows these topics. A few of them did, and every one of them I've talked to so far that said that I was fine. I have a PhD physicist that I know that's a particle physicist that was messaging me going, "Yeah, Rick was just whatever." But I wanted the audience to kind of know a little about what he was trying to talk about, because I watched him with Michael Shermer. Shermer did not have a clue what was going on. So I wanted the audience to kind of understand it, but I don't think a lot of them did, and that was not my fault. It was Rick's not letting me explain it to them.
Yeah, I think we need, if we're gonna do something like that, if you want to do that, then I think we need to pull. I think honestly, he would be a good non sequitur guest if we could get him under a little bit more control.
Oh, he'll come back. Yeah, I agree with you. He said he would do a part 2. I want to watch the movie.
We just need to have a mute button for him. That's all. Just so that way it's like, okay, listen, we have to like address the thing you said, so we're muting you so you can't interrupt. There's no offense going on here. You're welcome to say what you want to say afterward, but we're gonna mute you while we explain what you're talking about.
Oh, and I'll have a quantum physicist on. I'll have somebody at least who knows quantum physics. I mean, I have Dr. Kroon on, or I'll have my other friend who's a particle physicist.
Make Crocoduck talk to him.
He wanted Crocoduck. I messaged Crocoduck and I said, "Hey, Crocoduck, you want on with Delano?" Because they were supposed to be on together.
Wait.
Yeah.
Delano, the rapper.
No.
The what?
No.
Rapper.
Delano, the rapper. I just like, you don't know Baldwin bitches, Delano.
I'm not in your generation.
Do you even internet, Steve? Do you even
do I even internet?
Do not piss me off, motherfucker.
Bitch, you don't even know where you're at right now.
This person tells every person to suck their dick while saying that the mountains are ancient trees that giants cut down.
Oh, I've heard. Yeah, I've heard that before. Like Wyoming, Devil's Tower is a petrified tree.
When we get non sequitur back, I want a really big button that I can put right beside me, like right here or something. That's just a giant mute button, or just a giant fuck it button, and I can just whack it when things get out of control and just fire starts underneath.
Cheshire wants to go on non sequitur and whack it. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
We don't judge. So Nick, what do you think of? Did you watch the interview, Nick?
I did not. No, I missed it, unfortunately.
You don't watch my shit. Do you even know who I am?
Do Skype who dis?
Do Skype who dis?
Yeah. I'm here for the cookies. I was told there was going to be cookies and coffee.
Yeah, we'll get to the cookies. Yeah, we'll get to the crumpets and cookies. If Demi's Skype doesn't keep hootering out here. But yeah, I just wanted to do a brief recap on that whole Delano thing. Because again, I don't know if people remember this, but he was actually on death's doorstep not too long ago. And yeah, he had his last rites.
Holy.
So, I was telling him I'm glad that you didn't die. Although we disagree vehemently. I don't want the guy to die, right? But
well, yeah, that's like those are completely unrelated.
It's nice on a principle of charity if you can have that as your opening statement. Like, I'm really glad you're not dead. So we'll start that as the low bar.
Oh my god!
I didn't get to mention that on the episode, but yeah, that was the case. So
I saw that on a post on Reddit today. Actually, there's a post about how Bill Maher and the guy who runs Prager University were talking and hanging out after the show, and it's like, yeah, of course they disagree, but that doesn't mean like they're gonna like pick him up and throw him into the trash can outside of the studio as soon as the show's over. Like,
but what a video that would make, right?
Although that would be really funny if they could get him to agree to that and do it.
Oh, that'd be amazing. But let me know what you guys think of that interview.
He's in a dumpster full of all of the PragerU like certificates and
that's
degrees.
that's where they belong, right? That's basically where they belong. But go watch that episode, and tell me what you think of my sit down with Rick Delano. Because again, I apologize for the fact that he was so interruptive, and I couldn't even get some concepts out because I really wanted to kind of dive into his ontology, because that's what his movies, the new movie, is about. The End of Quantum Mechanics. I haven't seen it, but just from what I've gleaned, I think I could piece together what his argument was going to be, and he said, yes, that's it, which was very difficult to piece together, by the way, for a movie you haven't seen, to try to piece together his Thomistic and Aristotelian approach. But when he said Aristotelian physics wasn't part of Aristotelian ontology, I kind of lost my shit. I was like, okay, so physics being... Things that have physics don't have being. I don't know how that works, but whatever.
Don't forget to like and share, and specifically share on Twitter, because I can't. So get the word out.
Yeah, if you guys remember, Cheshire's in Twitter jail. But yeah, like and share that video. By the way, I do appreciate people sharing these videos more. It has been noted that there's a little uptick on people sharing stuff, and that's how we get the stuff out there, is by sharing videos and sharing each other's content. So I appreciate it. Dem, are you back yet?
Yeah, Reed makes a good point. He was terrible. I don't think he wanted you to clarify anything.
Oh, Reed's absolutely right. Oh, yeah, Reed's a smart guy, though. But yeah, he's absolutely right. He does not want people to actually explain these concepts because it shits all over his narrative. I mean, he actually really believes this stuff. I mean, he is full-on ideologue. But I wanted to get into
clarifying is the other C word. So now we're gonna end up with something like the 3 C's or something. It's gonna be clarifying, context, and like we gotta come up with
Cheshire.
Cheshire.
Yeah, I had somebody. I on Twitter the other day. I said something like I mentioned like that's why we have the C word, and the next comment was mature, and everybody's like, "You didn't read the entire thread. You didn't they didn't even read the thread, dude. These people just jump on this shit, and they have no idea the history, none, right? They just think they're like, oh well, this is jump in for the sake of jumping in. It's like the bandwagon that we keep talking about. I see so much bandwagon activity nowadays. It's just immeasurable.
Well, that's one of the things that we're going to talk about a little bit today.
Yes, actually, good segue. This is why she makes an awesome co-host. It's not just because she's 17.
And when you lose, it's because I'm listening, and when you lose your train of thought, I was actually listening. So you're like, where was I? And I just repeat the last sentence you said.
I do that. I really do that, by the way. Okay.
You do?
Let's get a little update on the Non-Sequitur show real quick. So I didn't know there was a mandatory waiting period. My lawyer didn't know either, unfortunately, because this is a very unusual case that he has not ever done anything like this before. Usually you sue for a specific amount when you go in front of a judge, right? You say, this is what we're asking for. And there's Demi, she's back.
Collusion.
What's that?
Sorry, they were just offering other C words. One of them is
collusion.
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 There was some collusion in the downfall of the Non-Sequitur show. I'm convinced of that. But anyways, there was a waiting period. So the judge has the order that says just to return the Non-Sequitur show to me and to release all financial records relating to the Non-Sequitur show, but it cannot be signed till the 8th or give or take. So 8th, I think it's a Friday, so it might be the 12th, which is a Monday. But in that range, it's going to be another week. And that's a mandatory waiting period. Nothing can be done about that. But it is in progress, so give it another week or so. Once we get that order, then we could either take it to YouTube, or Kyle can actually fulfill the obligations to do it. He has 14 days. You know he's going to wait 14 days at the minimum. But if he doesn't, then they issue I talked to my lawyer. He said they'll probably issue what's called a civil bench warrant, and then drag him in the judge and say, why haven't you done this yet? And he can't just say things like, well, it's blah, 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 it's not his. No, it's the channel's mine. That's already been determined, right? Because he forfeited his right to go after it because he lost by default. He has to say, well, I was in the hospital and I could have turned over to him. Something along those lines would be a valid excuse. We also going to be suing him for each count. There's 7 counts now, so each count is up to $25,000. Up to. Yeah. So now we decided to not just go for
a couple of the counts is more than that because it can be tripled. Actually, I think only one can be tripled.
Well, I think the principal can be tripled. The primary.
I'm not sure you can triple the whole thing. At a minimum, you can triple one of the counts, and one of the counts is reasonably heavy, the fraud one.
Yeah, well, we're going to triple the principal, which is at least $30,000. It's probably well more than that. I'm being very, very low range. But triple that plus I've given the figure minimum $10,000 in court costs, so that's $100,000 right there, and we'll decide what we're going to sue for each count. That's going to take some time, but we decide we are going to go for each count now because Kyle's playing games. So we're going to sue for we're going for the most maximum amount we could possibly get.
Well, Kyle is dragging it out as long as he can.
Absolutely, and that's going to cost
essentially
him.
just to be vindictive.
Yeah, of course.
Well,
but he can't. By the way, he can't file bankruptcy. I know people brought that up. When you do something fraudulently, or you have what's called a breach of fiduciary duty, those two are exempt from Chapter 13 bankruptcies. So,
again, though, I think that only applies to a couple of the counts. So he might be able to discharge a few of them. He won't be able to discharge the biggies.
yeah, sure. No, sure, but I mean, he can't
But
discharge
he
the
would
primary.
need a lawyer to do that.
Yeah, he needs a lawyer to do that. By the way.
Well, he's listen. Last I spoke with him, and I spoke with him. He said he had a lawyer and he had filed his complaint or his reply, which apparently Steve's just ignoring because it doesn't seem to exist.
Yeah, but the
that's a
problem,
whole
the
nother
problem
thing.
is that anybody can go to North Carolina Public Records and see nothing is filed by him, and he cannot file now. There's an injunction barring him from filing once we have the motion from the judge. That part of the case is over. He cannot file anything. What he needs to do is the only thing he can file is a response to when we're going to get the channel back, and if he wants to negotiate a settlement. Other than that, he's already lost the case. The case is that part of the case is done. What we're doing is in the not discovery phase. It's actually the judgment phase of what we've actually can show we are due, and he has to show the books to do that, and he's preventing. He's not showing them, and that's going to cost him because that's civil penalties and criminal even after that. So. That's the update.
Yeah,
you guys got questions on that?
Well, the criminals, they're potentially criminal because of
Potentially
I think your
criminal,
fifth count. So it doesn't mean he's going to get them, but that's one of the reasons why every time I've spoken about this, I've urged him to take it much more seriously because I don't think he really wants to face that. And so far, he doesn't seem to care. So
No, he doesn't care. No, I'm thinking right now there's a pretty high chance he's going to go back to jail.
At this point.
Go back to jail
Yeah, he was in jail.
yeah.
for
Breaking and entry
into
at
a
church
church
and cocaine possession.
And cocaine.
oh, okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, I've got his mug shots. You guys want to see him? I'll send them to you later if you want.
No, but he. I
Well,
mean, he's
and then
go ahead.
he's also got a pattern of not showing up. I mean, he had 5 failure to appears, and for criminal charge, he just doesn't show up. And that's just not wise. I really wish it doesn't matter whether he's guilty or innocent. It would be nice if he just showed up and engaged, but no.
Yeah, you can't file an appeal. This is not small claims court. This is mandatory complex superior business court. There's no appeal like that. So no, it just doesn't work that way. He can file a motion to vacate if he has extenuating circumstances why he didn't file, but that would require him being literally in the hospital, pretty much. That's about the only thing.
Yeah, he doesn't. We know. Well, yeah, we know he can't do that because we can just demonstrate that wasn't the case because he's on streams.
Yeah, exactly. That
He was on that stream with
my lawyer's
G-Man.
like, don't even worry about that. That's not going to happen. He was like, straight up, don't even worry about that. That will not happen.
Nikki, I can't send it to the Capal right now, but I'll try later. Somebody who asked, step away from the screens, asked, has anybody done any digging into the legitimacy of the wedding?
No, it's not my concern, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think any of us actually
I really don't
care.
care.
Yeah.
That's something that they should look into.
Yeah, that's their problem, not mine. But it would be funny, right?
We also got a really good suggestion for what the last C should be. Context, clarify, and charity. Those are really good.
Principle
I
of
like
charity.
That. Yep.
That is really good. Who came up with that? They got a
That
really
is good.
point.
Can't we
some
just
guy.
add cunt?
Some guy.
Can cunt be the last one? Cunts.
Well,
I don't think that's what we're going for. Yeah.
That's
It can be
Red's channel.
honorary. When you show up, it'll be
Yay.
honorary.
So if you got questions on that, just email me. But I just want to give people a quick status on that. We are going balls to the wall. Nobody's forgotten about anything. I'm going to get the Non-Sequitur Show fans answers, and I'm hoping the Non-Sequitur Show fans continue to try to get resolution themselves and hold Mr. Atheist, Godless Engineer, Caitlin Chloe, and Katie Polson personally responsible for all this is going on, because I think they were intricately responsible, and I blame Jimmy for covering it up vehemently. So I mean, he's just lying to people, and I know he has a big channel, and I know his fans will don't care. They will stick by him regardless. But I am absolutely convinced, without question, that he actively was a part of covering up this fraud. Whether it's because Kai was his friend or not doesn't matter.
That.
You know. Yeah, I think so. Oh, I'm convinced we've demonstrated it, but whatever.
People who know better will know better.
Hopefully. I think after the trial, I think a lot more people were willing to come out. I know a lot of people want to make videos about this after like it's all said and done, but I think they're kind of waiting and hedging their bets. But I will tell you, somebody asked me the other day on Facebook. They said, "Hey, Steve, has any of them came forward and said they were sorry to you, or any of them renounced Kyle, or any as far as like saying yes, he took the money?" Not a one, not a single. I would say 10,000 atheist or higher sub count has said anything.
Well, to be fair, Katie did, but she reneged.
She didn't say he took the money. They all said that he lied to her. He lied
the money
to them.
was gone.
That the money was gone. Yeah. Well, yeah, but nobody said, "Hey, Kyle committed fraud." Kyle basically stole this money from the fans. There's $60,000 plus missing. They didn't address any of that.
Yeah.
I don't mind people deciding that they want to stay out of it and not
Sure,
talk
whatever.
about it
There's a
until
couple-
after it's done.
Sure.
That's fine. However, it becomes an issue if you decide to open your big fat mouth and say things and then be like, "I don't even want to be involved."
Yeah. No, and I get that as well. But I will say this though, it is a little bit hypocritical for people to get involved in certain issues that are similar when a person is a theist, but when a person is an atheist, they don't. I mean, look how many people actively with Mr. Atheist put pumpkin on their thing because he was called, something or other, something, some Baptist group went after him. Look how many people stood behind him.
I would actually make an argument. Like, I didn't join in on the pumpkin kit thing because I thought
I did
I
actually,
thought it
but
was a little
whatever.
bit yeah, that's fine. I thought it was a little bit silly, a little bit ridiculous, and I thought that was like mob bullying tactics. Go after him for his arguments. Why are you going after him about this made-up narrative about him being attracted to gourds joke? Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, no, and I'm not disagreeing with you.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, still, I was like, okay, whatever. I'll have a little solidarity because I don't like the NFIB, right? I think they're a horrible homophobic group, obviously.
Yeah,
and if people want to go after them to try to take them out, I'm cool with that because they are a type of group that are vile, and I have no problems with that.
I agree, but I don't agree with the tactics. Like, I agree with what they did. Like, I agree with the goal. It was the tactics that I was like, this isn't the community that I thought it was.
All right, well, where's the solidarity for the Non-Sequitur show? The fact that, again, these people that went on the show, these people have actually benefited from the show. They've benefited from my channel. I no offense, but I didn't get much solidarity. There was a couple that have stood that said something like, "Thank God for like," how contradictory is this? Thank God for like Atheist Edge, and Jim Hall, who had the balls to actually stand up and say, "Hey, this is fucked up, people." He's one of the very few though, but he doesn't have a 10,000 plus channel.
Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted people to
By the time I got around to, I already have a video recorded and half edited on my computer, and literally as I was editing it, you said, "Oh, this shit's going to court and it's old," and I'm like, "Oh, bitch, it's too late to everything." I was like, "There's no, I have nothing to say at this point when it's going to court. I'm going to wait for that tea to spill first."
Yeah, well, and again, I'm fine with people like waiting. And there's a couple of people that actually messaged me and said, "Hey, Steve, I agree with you, but I can't really go public on this." I would say there's probably about 6 or 7 people that even did that. A lot of people messaged me. They said, "I can't really say this in public, but I stand by you." And I was like, okay, I appreciate that, but at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, I'm not afraid to say things in public if I believe in a cause. I'm controversial in that regard. I've stood by people, or at least gave them the benefit of the doubt. I even stood up for Matt Dillahunty. I had David Silverman on, right? I mean, people know that I'm against cyberbullying. I'm willing to stick my neck out, even though that I have trolls and haters that are going to take advantage of it. Why? Because I'm not scared. I'm not a coward, and they are. And I don't care about these people that are. Well, I shouldn't say they're not care. I shouldn't say the people that message me saying that they won't go on air to talk about this are cowards. They're not. But it is hypocritical. But it is hypocritical when they will go after other people for very similar things, but they won't hear, even though they benefit the Non-Sequitur Show channel. I find it to be a little odd, but I just want to say that I'm not afraid to put myself out there. That's what I do, and that's what I want to be known for, good, bad, or indifferent. It's what I do. It's what I am, and I'm happy about that. And it's worked for me. And I'm going to have a small niche audience. I get that. I'm never going to be a big YouTuber because I'm not going to suck a dick in order to get famous, because I think that some of these people just go on the bandwagon.
Well, you absolutely could if you wanted to. I mean, it's easily within your, you know how to market, you know how to do these things. If you wanted to, you could have a huge channel. It's just not your goal.
If I sacrifice my principles.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Josh?
Yeah, oh, I was just going to explain to Helios where the thing came from. Essentially, one of the NIFB guys said something along the lines about he was being derogatory towards gay people and calling them fruits or whatever, and then saying something about being attracted to gourds and how ridiculous that would be. And so people were like, oh wait, so he's interested in gourds, so a pumpkin is a large gourd, and with the time of year it was, everybody, it's easy to get everybody on board. Like I get the tactic. I understand the tactic of, hey, it's an easy thing to get people to jump on board to get after these people, but I think again, it's a matter of like, is it right to fight fire with fire in this case? And in some cases,
but I'm a little disagree. I think it's right to fight fire with fire in certain circumstances. I'm not against them going after.
That's what I just said.
NIFB. Okay.
I said, yeah, no. They should go against the NIFB, and fighting fire with fire in some cases I think is appropriate. I think going after his sexuality and using the gourd comparison was like, forgive the pun, low-hanging fruit, but I didn't agree with the way they did it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. But again, I look at the argument, I look at the situation, not the person. If I thought Mr. Atheist was being
also
unfairly targeted, I would say something, and I have. I thought that he was right. Even though I can't stand him, I think he's a horrible person, and I think that he has huge issues, and I think he uses his audience. I don't take that into account when it's a specific issue, because I want to be objective as possible. And again, this is what I want my audience to think about me, is that I'm willing to put aside those differences. Like I did with Matt Dillahunty. When he was called transphobe, who stood up for him?
Well, yeah, and he's blocked you on every media.
And he's blocked me out, yeah. He hates me.
He will hang up.
He doesn't know about the fact I stood up for him. He won't care, even if he did.
Doesn't. Yeah. But people call in on the show and say, by the way, Steve, boom.
Yeah.
Hangs up at the
I'm a trigger word to him.
Went to his defense.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? He was doing that when he was doing that call with Kyle that was simul streamed on his stream and Kyle's stream. That was like, oh, we're gonna take voicemails because we're not gonna answer you directly. Red's Rhetoric tweeted at him and said, hey, I got a couple questions if you've got the balls to answer. Blocked.
Blocked. Well, that's the funniest thing too. It's like, look, there's certain people I would never talk to, but if somebody wants to run their argument against me, come on in. Arguments are arguments. I don't care about the arguments, but I'm happy to discuss them. What?
Jimmy wouldn't talk to Reds about something else. I think it might have been, I don't remember. There was something else that he offered to have a debate with him about, and he wouldn't do it live.
Because Jimmy knew what Kyle was doing. I'm convinced of it now.
Oh, it was before that.
Yeah. Oh, well, not that much before. No, it really wasn't.
But yeah.
So, yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, his audience is his audience. My audience is my audience. But I want my audience to be more educated than his audience. That's basically it.
There's the argument of quality over quantity, right? So it's going to take longer to grow this audience, but the quality of the audience is going to be better. The engagement is going to be higher. The people coming onto the show and the people like the audience members that want to come onto the show is going to be like a more elevated type of discourse.
Are you sucking up to the audience?
I'm always sucking up to the audience.
We have the best audience. This is the best audience. I have the biggest audience.
We have the best, the smartest. The audience has big brains.
One sec. Anyways,
yeah.
Yeah, somebody's in the live chat saying they're blocked or they can't read. I can read their comments, so I don't know what they're talking about. But a couple of shout outs.
I thought they said they were blocked on their main account, not on that account.
I have no idea.
Whatever.
But I want to put a shout out to Sarah in the live chat real quick. I'll say this: out of all the people that I know, including like Jim and anybody else who's been supporting me, Sarah's not afraid to basically put her feet in the water and basically say, screw you people, this is my thoughts. And I really think that's what we need in this community, not people that aren't afraid. Sarah's not afraid. And I wanted to put a shout out to her videos. If you haven't checked her out, go subscribe to her. Hope she puts a link in the video description because I love her content. This is why I wanted to get to know her at the beginning, because she has amazing videos. And it's something we need in this community. We need people who aren't afraid, because I swear I have seen people just so they'll discuss the stuff that everybody agrees with, but I don't see them really discussing the stuff that's controversial. Because
we all get blocked for it.
Fair enough.
Twitter jail,
Twitter
baby
jail.
cage.
Yeah. I guess the woke stuff, the SJW stuff, they try to censor people that want to talk about those types of topics, and we're not into that
love
culture,
Paul
that
Morgan.
cancel culture.
I would love to have a show with me and Stephen, Paul, and Morgan on. Just talk to Paul and Morgan.
Who?
That'd be amazing. Paul and Morgan, the Paul and Morgan show.
I don't. Did I?
I love them.
Ooh, I don't know who this is.
Paul and Morgan. I'm
I
not
don't know either.
explaining this. There's some they're just a Christian couple that give Christian advice.
Oh, Paul and Morgan.
Yeah.
The guy and the girl. Oh yeah, I've listened to them.
Paul and
They're
Morgan,
insane.
The Paul and Morgan show.
They're insane. I would
Oh,
have a
yeah,
conversation
I
with
think
them in a
it-
heartbeat.
I
Why?
think it'd be super interesting to actually like have a conversation with them about some of their advice and be
Is
like,
that- they're
okay,
the ones
let's
like
break this down.
sex is for marriage between a married couple, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, joy.
They're
Yeah.
still around.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm not one to punch up. I occasionally I'll call somebody out or I'll at least talk about somebody, but I don't.
No, I'm not trying to call them out. I just think it would be interesting to bring them on, have a discussion, and be like, okay, well, here's your views. We understand what your views are. Let's follow that train of thought and see where it goes.
That would be fun.
I think there's actually an interesting discussion that could be had there. And they're charismatic. They seem like they'd be fun people to actually just have a conversation with.
Yeah, but they do seem sexually repressed. Yeah, Sean. That's another. You know what? We should have a show on that one of these, or at least Cheshire should. I think Cheshire and Demi and maybe Sarah and Sweet Heathen and Faye the Most Gracious and a whole bunch. They should have a show on sexual repression because it does exist.
God.
Yeah. Who was it the other day? You know what?
Well,
Chesh,
monetization.
you had some screenshots on this, didn't you?
I have screenshots on everything. What are you looking for?
Oh, what you sent me just like this morning.
Which one?
Oh, I don't.
What did I send you this morning? I send lots of things to lots of people.
Oh,
What are you talking about?
Well, there was first, Jen had something about women. She was talking about debate.org about women should be subservient to men, and they were debating that topic. Did you see that? Out of curiosity.
Oh no, I don't think I did.
Yeah, it was quite good. It was like, okay, this is.
Was it on Twitter?
Well,
QC?
Jen Morgan had it on YouTube. She had a video on it that she put out on Twitter.
Okay.
She's
Okay.
another one. She's not afraid to state her mind, and I so like that.
I love Jen.
Jen's
Jen is
amazing.
great. What I sent you was a picture that says 7th graders made tampon cookies for a principal after he refused to put tampons in the
Well,
bathroom.
okay, that one and the
There's a
next one.
picture
Yeah,
of
I
the
mean,
cookie.
but here's the thing. It's just like
And then
it's like
somebody underneath wrote the comments
There you go.
that don't need to be wear them yet anyway. Go to health class and learn up on the female body before you start wanting to be grown. What?
Oh my
Wow.
What? It's amazing. It's one of my. I loved it. It was great. And then there was another one that said, "I smiled at this nice older gentleman as he walked by, and he said, 'It's a cloudy day outside, but your smile just brightened my day.' Then I told him he was a sexist piece of shit, and he shouldn't tell women to smile. JK, I said, 'Thank you so much. That's sweet, because I'm not a bitter psycho.'" I found a whole new subreddit to lurk. It's called "Our Women Don't Work That Way." There's one for men too, and I just haven't gotten there yet. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
yeah, I think that's just what principal would not put like feminine hygiene products in the school? I mean, that's biological.
They might have pads available and just not tampons, but like you should have. There's no reason not to have both, to be honest, because that's a comfort thing, right? And it also depends on what you're wearing. If you show up to school in like a thong and a skirt, which is normal for high school, then you're not gonna be able to use a pad very effectively.
You want to hear something? Go ahead. Nick.
Well, no, all those are very fair points. I am interested to know whether or not he was. I mean, my guess is he was just worried about parents, but I'm curious if he was worried about, okay, what happens if a student gets toxic shock or yada, yada, yada. I don't know, but I'm.
Well, toxic shock. There's toxic shock syndrome, but that's really rare. And again, I think people should learn how to use these things. But
yeah, I mean,
The rate is about 12, 13.
You want to hear something weird? I used to use tampons. There you go.
That is weird.
It's weird. But you don't. But let me explain, because people are like,
No, I don't want to let you explain. I
fun
just wanted to
fact.
leave it
Fun
at that. I like
fact.
that.
Fun fact.
Anyway, so what are we talking about now?
What? Let me clarify, because I'm not gonna leave that one dangling. In the
You
military.
left your tampon dangling? What is this? Jesus, Steve,
You like that
is
pun?
this really appropriate?
You like that pun? In the military, tampons make
Demonetized.
excellent shoe shiners. You use tampons to shine your shoes. This is a fun fact in the military. People in the military would probably know this. They work. Okay, whatever.
I'd much rather strawman you with that one. I'm just going to leave.
Yeah,
the
you
second
do
half
with
out
that
of it.
what
I'm
you
gonna
will.
go tell
Yeah,
it a little
I conveniently didn't hear your reasoning, and I
I reject your reasoning and I
It's gonna
substitute
show
my
up
own.
in Deborah's video.
By the way, that's a good segue for letters from home, but I think we're gonna wait for that in a minute. I got something I want to read from letters from home, but well, actually, you want to do the letter then definitions, or up to you, Chesh?
Yeah, do the letter then
Okay.
definitions, but I do have one piece of exciting
Sure.
news that I want to share while you get that ready.
Let's go for it.
I got a friend request from T-Jump on Facebook.
God damn.
I'm so excited. I don't know what he wants, but I'm looking forward to it.
You know, somebody messaged me the other day and they're like, I've never seen one person lose so many discussions. I guess T-Jump had a debate with Standing for Truth and got his ass handed to him. And that was after he had a
How?
debate with Ken Hovind and he got his ass handed to him on Giants.
Uh,
And I didn't watch either, and I
what?
guess I have to.
That's
But
unfortunate.
well, okay. Let me ask the audience here. Again, people know that I am biased against T-Jump. I think he's an idiot. I think his epistemology sucks. Okay, but fair enough. That's my opinion. But how many of you ever seen T-Jump prepare for a debate? Please tell me. Has anybody ever seen T-Jump do any prerequisite work to do any kind of debate whatsoever? No, he goes in, eyes closed. That's not how you have a discussion. He looks like an idiot, and he thinks he's doing a brilliant job. Am I wrong on this? I mean, I've never seen him actually do any kind of prep work. I spent 2 weeks
I don't know.
prepping for a debate or discussion. 2 weeks usually, because I like to like at least have an understanding of the material. But damn. All right. Anyway, so
Read your
so-
letter.
All right, so read my letter. So
Date it. What's
my-
the date?
a while back, people remember I told them that I went to my letters. I wrote to her and the family when I was in the military, and I've been reading some of them, and boy, does it bring back some memories. But before I do that, I actually want to show something if I can. Nick, you want to
Yeah.
see something? Do you recognize
Yeah, let me-
this? Can you see that, Nick?
Let's see if
Yeah, you can,
photo.
but I can't. Nick, you there? Did we lose?
Did we
Nick?
lose Nick?
What happened to Nick? Oh my God! I showed him one photo and he goes running. This was not a blackmail thing, man. Okay, I don't know what happened to Nick. He's still in the call. Nick,
I think
Oh.
I think maybe.
there you are. Do you recognize this? Is that right? Oh, there we go. Oh my God, Nick, you're killing me. I don't know what's going on with Nick. All right. So, anyways, you guys can see this. This is a card that I got from Nick. This is a.
That's awesome.
Something related to his first show. This I got from Nick.
Oh, that's cool.
Can you guys
That's
see?
really appropriate.
Yeah.
But
Very
that
cool.
aged well.
This is that aged really well. I'm hoping that it probably age even better in the future. Because, like I said, my Schadenfreude, I hate German. Schadenfreude is kicking in. That if Kai goes to jail, I'll be just happy for that. But anyways, long story short, I wrote letters. Now I want to show you something. When I wrote this, we were underway, and when you're underway, you get swells and you get ship going back, forward. It basically there's 3 degrees of freedom. You're rolling this way, up, down. And
Can you guys hear me?
My penmanship was
He's
really
back.
bad. Oh, he's back. Nick. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Oh, perfect.
Can
I
you
don't
see
know what
me?
happened, but I can see you guys just fine.
Could you recognize that now?
Yeah, I do. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I did get it, and I got this one too.
Thank you. Oh, good.
Yes.
Yeah, we send those out to all our patrons,
Yes.
and you've been very supportive. So thank
And
you.
I
The first one
appreciate
was
that.
the lady selling concessions at a live gunfight.
I really
That's cute.
appreciate that. Do you want to see the one that I sent my mom though? You sent me that. I'll send
Yeah.
you. I'll send this. I sent in. This is, I believe, in 1992. It looks like. You ready for this?
Yep.
I'll make sure it's not going to be too demonetized. I sent that to my mom.
Your mom must be so proud.
Yeah, my mom made a good child. Okay. Okay, so here we go. This is a letter that I wrote in May of 1990 to my family. Again, letters from home. And the reason I think people might get a kick out of these things is because it really goes in the mindset of what it's like to be in the military. And if you think about joining the military, what it's going to be like. Schadenfreude. Sure. I hate German. Germans have really long words to say so little, right? I do really. I suck at pronouncing German stuff. Schadenfreude. Is that how you say it?
Somebody called
I'm
Geo.
terrible. Schadenfreude. I
Schadenfreude.
don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what
can
these words
pronounce
mean.
if
I just can't
remember.
say half of them. Right?
Yeah.
I can't even say Geostreber right. Although I think I just did.
No,
Wait.
I don't know if anybody can.
Yeah. I mean, no matter how I pronounce it,
German.
Geo says it's not right, so whatever.
There's no winning.
Yeah, there's no winning with German people.
Or with Geo.
Okay, so. Okay, let me read this, and hopefully I can read it with my context. Dear family, well, I'm still alive, but not by a wide margin. I'm on watch right
Nice.
now. Oh, this is so me. You guys want to get in mindset. This is 20 years ago, right? So I haven't really changed much. I'm on the water right now and could only find a red pen. Right? It's like literally a red pen. Can you wait? I wrote it in red. Does that even show the red? There we go. Right now, we are somewhere north of nowhere and south of somewhere. From what I've heard, we are going to spend the next couple months in the Persian Gulf tracking Soviet ships. There's no reports of hostilities in that area right now, and we all hope it stays that way. We were in a combat zone for couple tours. I've been extremely worn out lately. We're standing watch. I'm standing feed pump watch, which is, my God, I should have contacted us. I am standing 3 station. What? God, I can't remember.
Can't even read your own handwriting.
Well, it's also because I have my contacts in. You know what? Maybe I should take a contact out to read this, right? Because if not, I don't have my reading glasses. I don't know why I'm having a hard time reading this. Let's see. We are standing 3 station watch back to back, and I have 5 hours of watch. Then I have 10 hours of additional watches. I have a normal duty day, which is 7 a.m. 700 hours to 16:30. 2 extra watch duties every night, and I have to qualify 4 watches in less than 2 weeks, which means I'm constantly doing something. If I get 6 hours of sleep, I feel extremely grateful. Most of the time, I get about 2 to 4 every night. 24 to 36 hours. Excuse me. I get between 2 to 4 hours of sleep every 24 to 36 hours. No exaggeration. So far, this watch, which is feed pump watch, i.e. maintaining feed to the steam generators to make steam, I've only burned myself once.
Hooray!
Usually I burn myself 2 times per watch, and I have scars all up and down my arms to prove it. I literally did there's one scar that we all used to get was it would just go down here. It's gone now, but what happens is you would lean on something, and the pipe would be a 1-inch pipe, and when you lean on it, what happens? Yeah.
Ouch. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's probably gone away. I don't think. Yeah, you can't really see anything. But yeah, I used to get burned a lot. I'm used to getting burned pretty badly and bruises constantly, so it's not that bad. This watch, I usually work out every 10 to 15 minutes every hour while it's on watch. I used to do pull-ups and push-ups. I was in good shape. While on watch, I notice a considerable amount of difference from when I left on Westpac and where I am now. A lot more toned. A lot of people have made comments on how strong I am for my size, because I was a small little guy in the Navy. So I do think that the push-ups and weightlifting I do to pass the time have been paying off. And unfortunately, right now, my My arm is noticeably larger than my left. It's not for what the reasons you think. I actually have that. I actually said this. It's not for the reasons you think. But it's the arm I use most, so I'll live with it. I'm not huge yet, but I'm definitely toned. Yeah, I said this to my family.
I wouldn't say that to my mother, but okay, fine. To each their own, I guess.
My right arm is noticeably. I'm underway, and my right arm's noticeably larger than my left.
To be fair, you also you definitely also sent her a nude top, like a topless woman.
Did you tell her about the tampons?
It's not topless. She's got a bathing suit on.
Yeah. Did you tell your mom about your tampon usage?
Oh, I don't even remember.
Probably.
I don't think my mom.
Probably.
Probably. Not much has been going around. Not much has been going on around here. We had a few minor, actually major incidences since we have been underway, but the ship is still holding together. I don't see it lasting much longer, though. It is extremely underlined bad shape. By the way, I actually put extremely underlined bad shape.
Yeah.
My ship was bad shape. My ship was commissioned in like 1964. I think the keel was laid.
Wow.
Yeah, and it got decommissioned. I think in 95 or 95 or 96. But it was bad shape. We had a fight to keep it going. One of those things, right? Of course, in the military, when something doesn't work, what do?
Try and fix it.
No, you paint it.
Face it, make it work.
No,
that's what I used to do when I worked factory.
You paint it.
You paint it.
We used to have something we called the graveyard. So it was like a parts graveyard, a machine graveyard, because what we would have to do is we'd have to just go and get parts from these machines that they just don't do any work on anymore. So it's.
We've had to scavenge parts. We had you had two choices when you were underway when you didn't have the right part. You had to scavenge or you had to fabricate.
Yeah, exactly. So you either make it yourself and mill it, or you have to go find it inside of some other machine and try and force it to work. Now
we had a machine shop, and I was qualified. Was called propulsion plant craftsman, and a propulsion plant craftsman is somebody who actually fabricates parts. Although I hated machinery, and the biggest reason why I hated doing machine fabrication, and anybody who's ever done this will know what I'm talking about. What happens when you drill solid stainless steel? What happens to the little curly things?
Oh, those are sharp as all.
Yes, they are. Razor. You touch those and you get cut. Oh my God, did I injure myself all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I hated that.
I never had to deal with.
They are the sharpest things that you've ever seen in your life. Okay.
Friggity. Fuck. What?
There's talk.
Don't mind me.
That's fine. There's talk from. I'm almost done. There's talk from the higher.
No, take your time. I'm actually doing something and getting something ready for next segment.
Okay. There's talk from the higher ups about decommissioning the ship, but there's talk from the higher ups of decommissioning the ship.
Steve can't read his own
I
handwriting.
know. I think the sooner the better. I'm putting it around September or October. Oh, I'm putting in for leave in September or October. Okay. If I leave in September, then I'll fly from San Francisco, which would be extremely cheap. Oh, by the way, Dad, what was the name of your friend from high school, the architect from San Francisco? I'll be happy to pay him a visit if I go up there. This is my uncle. Well, not a real uncle, but like that. I'm all in all, I'm ready to come back to the States. I'm leaving. I'm looking forward to Australia, but not for another 35 more days. I'm tired, and there are so many assholes, pardon my French, it's my mom, on this pile of junk.
Oh yeah, pardon my French, but my left arm is bigger than my right.
I'm not kidding. Pardon my French. Could you wait? Like I said, I'm reading it verbatim. I'm trying to.
Oh no, I believe that you put that. That was not my.
Oh, okay.
Nobody's contesting.
My mom doesn't speak French, but whatever. So I'm tired of this. There's so many assholes. Pardon my French, on this pile of junk. It's unbelievable. I've come to the conclusion. This is me, really me, for the last 20 years. Same thing. I've come to the conclusion, Dad, that the requirements to be an officer are: 1, be a complete idiot. All officers on the ship actually qualify for that. Qualify in that area. 2, always think you're correct, even if you aren't. 3, be an asshole whenever the opportunity presents itself. There's
my God.
there's also a number of enlisted people here who qualify in all three areas as well. And basically, I just wrapped it
If
up.
those are the only qualifications, I think I got this nailed.
Right? And at the very
we're gonna
bottom,
all join the army.
I said, sorry if this is so sloppy. We are underway, and I have an up arrow, down arrow, right and left arrow, and I'm in a hurry. So I mean, I put a little arrow.
There we go.
Yeah, see, we're going multiple. We were hitting swells when I was writing this, which makes it very difficult. But yeah, so anybody who's been in the military knows what the hell I'm talking about. Officers are assholes, and their only thing that they do is basically try to be a dick anytime they possibly can. And they don't know what the hell they're doing most of the time. That's why they have the enlisted people. We tell them what actually is going on.
Everyone.
It's kind of like the doctors and the nurses, right? Nurses do the vast majority of the actual labor, but doctors get the credit.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That makes sense.
Well, the nurses understand what's going on. They're the ones who actually have their hands in it and are engaged day to day. So they have a understanding that the doctors really don't care about anymore. I don't know how much they used to, but.
Well, do you know who trains the officers in the military on board ship?
No.
The enlisted.
Yeah.
It's not other officers. Sense. We have to explain to them. We have to sign their qualification. That's the one time where they come to us and say, "Hey, like I have an officer like a ensign, they call bull ensign, which is the oldest ensign on the boat, or not the oldest, but the one that's been in since longest." And they'll be like, "Hey, Steve, can you check me out? It sounds dirty. Can you check me out? Can you check me out on this qualification?" They'll say, "Hey, can you?" I'll ask them questions like, "Okay, what happens if I raise reactor height like this? What happens if I turn this valve? What kind of alignment do I need for this? What does this do over here? What's the name of this? Describe to me the pressurization of the system for the pressurization nozzle. If I have a steam blanket and I have this much," I would ask them these types of questions. And they had to demonstrate to me they actually had to know the knowledge. And then I would sign their qualifications. And they have a qual book like that to get qualified. But once they get qualified, all of a sudden they seem to think they're the experts of the plants.
Well, that's out of curiosity. Is there any quid pro quo there going on where they're sort of like, "Hey, listen, I'll take it easy on you if you qualify me"? Is that?
No, never had any of that.
Godless Scummer said, thus far this stream we have established that Steve uses tampons, swears as his mother, and has wanderer's cramp. Watch Steve haters run with that.
Yeah, no, that sounds legit. Dude, I'm telling you, I'm loving watching these people spin narratives. It is so comical because they're not affecting me. Matter of fact, my numbers are all-time high because my audience isn't stupid. They can see that people are running narrative and running game, and it's actually benefited me. So I appreciate that. Yeah.
Hey.
But speaking of which, how about we dive into the meat of the show here since we're an hour in?
All right, cool.
How it works.
So let's do the definition. Passive aggressive is the definition today. And the one that I've got pulled up is formally associated with a particular psychological disorder stemming from years of perceived underappreciation and bitterness. A character flaw brought on by a person's inability to deal with their own bitterness, anger, or resentment in an assertive manner, thus becoming a more passive form of hostility. See petty, little bitch, worthless turd.
That's the Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, that's the Urban Dictionary one. This entry is...
See petty little turd.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
Well, I have the regular dictionary.
Passive aggressive, a defense mechanism that allows people who aren't comfortable being openly aggressive.
I like that one. I like this one.
Oh God, Chess, your dictionaries are no good.
Yeah. By the way,
Jesus,
dictionaries are
Chess,
just descriptions.
God.
These are not prescriptive. But I like this one. Of or denoting a type of behavior or personality characterized by an indirect resistance to the demands of others and an avoidance of direct confrontation, as in procrastination, pouting, or misplacing of important materials. I like that one, especially avoidance of direct confrontation. Yeah. Now, here's I'll give you the anti-example of passive aggressive. Anti-ordinary.
I mean, I like the second one. Yeah.
She's the antithesis of a passive aggressive. Okay, she's just aggressive. There's no passive there.
A defense mechanism that allows people who aren't comfortable being openly aggressive to get what they want under the guise of still trying to please others. They want their way, but they also want everyone to still like them.
And I think that's pretty fit. By the way, of all the things I've been accused of passive aggressive, I don't think it's ever been one of them.
Somebody called me passive
shocking.
aggressive.
It'll happen. No, somebody will. You know, somebody's got to. Somebody's got to go. Look at Steve. He's so passive aggressive. I'm like,
Yeah, somebody from the group of trolls before last Monday's show said I was being passive aggressive, and I was like, how am I being passive aggressive by telling you that you don't know what the argument yet is because you haven't? It's not Monday yet. You're arguing against something and you don't know what the argument is. Watch the show.
Watch the show.
It's not passive aggressive.
Oh, okay. So one of the reasons we're talking about passive aggressiveness is because recently somebody decided to like throw shade for some reason, and I'm not quite sure why. This person I've had on my channel numerous times. We don't see eye to eye in the woke culture. She, however, has, after several months of me not even having nothing to do with her, decided to make some comments that were completely false. And of course, I was going to correct her on it, and because she's going to try to run narrative, and try to tell people something. I have the actual evidence that she's wrong, and I have the evidence from the DMs. So
Yeah.
what happened? Real quick,
Jumping
and then
a
I'll
little bit off of last week.
So let me just give a preface here that I asked this person, if you think you're right, I'll allow you to show the DMs because I don't show DMs, right? I just don't. But in this particular case, she showed the DMs, and I think that is okay at this point to show the conversation what happened afterwards. However, she blocked me, and I don't have access to those DMs right now. But I did be able to download the data via JavaScript. You can actually download all your data from Twitter, regardless if they block you or not, in JavaScript form, or at least kind of a compact form. And so I have that, but unfortunately, it's very difficult to read.
You can't actually delete anything on the internet.
Right, right. And so anyways, Chess, can you kind of like give the backstory on this, and then I can go from there.
Oh baby.
You got so much
this is where
story
this started off of a meme, and I will share screen so you guys can see what's going on here. So I don't have these tweets because they got deleted. So this essentially became somebody made a meme for Steve McRae cyberbullies. Now, to be fair, this is actually pretty funny. They've got it backwards, but whatever. So they said Steve is now labeling people who criticize him as cyberbullies. So I made this tweak to the Mean Girls movie poster, and then people were like, "What the hell are you talking about? That is clearly not the case." And so without a crystal ball comes in here and is like, "Wait a minute, I actually think the image is ironically fitting for Monday's show. Steve has been showing cyberbullies should watch their backs as he's been standing up to a group of them acting like a bunch of mean girls." So when you put them actually side by side, it actually works. Nick flings in here and is like, "Yeah, that's perfect. Love it when memes get spun around when they actually insinuate." Like, Nick, do you want to read what you said?
I can't read it from here, so you're gonna have to. Read
It says, "Well, nobody is immune to that sort of thing, and I'm realizing myself again for the 16th or 17,000th time that I always seem to think an acknowledgement of it and awareness of it insulates me from it, but I still do it too. Nonetheless, if you assume somebody is guilty, you can and will find a way to make it so. Your mind will frame all of the evidence into that box you have set aside for it." Yep. I met Steve with a tabula rasa. I don't know.
Tabula rasa means clean slate.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Nobody told me he was a good person. Nobody told me he was a bad person. I had to come to my own conclusion. He truly is one of the best friends in the world, and I'm proud of that. And Sarah jumped in. Same with me.
Oh, wait. I didn't delete that tweet?
Yeah, nope. I have that on record now,
No,
mofo.
No, that was...
I'm one of his besties. I'm one of his besties.
Here's the problem. Even if you did delete it, I'm not looking at Twitter right now, am I?
Yeah, she can't access Twitter.
Son of a...
Yeah,
Chesh just record. Don't ever... Whatever you say around Chesh is just like...
Spin! Chesh is spinning.
Fucking stone.
Around. Secret is I'm everywhere.
Real quick.
Helios $5 said, "You want to see passive aggressive? Try to leave an MN dinner early. We Northerners have that art down to a science."
That's Montana.
That was actually one of the examples in the...
Oh, by the way, FYI, Helios and I are going to have a conversation on, I think, Wednesday, I think we just said, about 6:30 Central. So it's 4:30 Pacific. He wants to talk about some philosophy-type stuff. Other people are welcome to join. It's going to be the Great Debate Community channel. And also, if people got any questions about what's been going on in the community, that's going to be the perfect time to do that as well, because I don't know how much he has to ask, but I'm more than willing to sit down and have these conversations of philosophy. So Helios, you definitely, that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. So
we still need to do the ichtheism.
Oh, I talked to Ozzy on that. Ozzy really still wants to do ichtheism and theological and cognitivism. He's just been really, really busy during the season with his wife and stuff. And yeah, I can't follow.
I've been slammed too, so it just kind of works. But we got to do it.
Maybe Friday.
I'd love to. I'm free.
Did my microphone not switch over? Maybe I've got the wrong microphone on.
Fine.
My volume should be fine.
What does TomTom say here? He says, at this time of day, you can fabricate screenshots so much you can. So how much can you trust screenshots in the first place, even though the fabricating screenshots is not yet common? Oh, you're right. And by the way, people have done that to me. I will tell you right now.
I agree.
People have actually emulated me, have actually pretended to be me, said vile, vicious things, and then tried to pass them off as me. This has happened. This is a known fact in the community. So be very careful on screenshots. I completely agree with you, TomTom. Here's the way to validate. You can go look and look at history. And if you can't find it on Twitter, then you can download. Like I said, you can download data. Nothing disappears forever. Even if you delete a tweet, it doesn't disappear forever. You can still find ways of Wayback Machine and other things to validate.
Yeah, and keep in mind, if you can, there's so many screenshots here with GIFs embedded in them. If you think I faked this, I mean, you're giving me a lot more credit than.
But it's a good point. TomTom does make a good point.
No, it's a good point.
People have seen people try to be me and fake being me. And here's my rule of thumb: if you see something from me that doesn't sound right, just ask me. If you see somebody in live chat that pretends to be me, because they've done that before, contact me or ask them. My close friends and I have a very specific code word we came up with to validate if it's me or not. If they don't know that code word, they're screwed. So,
well, that's why I sent you a tweet going, there's some idiot on
code phrase I guess
YouTube right now who's saying that he uses tampons and he's you. I don't know what the hell is.
Yeah, and it's something that you can never figure out. So, anyways, but yeah, we have to take precautions because people will. We have trolls out there, a lot of them that will do these underhanded type things because these people have no ethics.
Always try and
code word's
verify
red.
And see if you can
Universal
also
code
get
word.
Also see if you can talk to the other person. So like if somebody is going around, like say I'm saying that Nick did this. Well, Nick's in the chat right now. So he's agreeing that these are things that happened. So if you want to, you can not only just verify it through Nick, you can verify it through Sarah. You can check like the screenshots that I've got on this side over here from YouTube, because that was the screenshot they added. Like there's multiple ways you can verify that this is accurate. If it's somebody you trust, then obviously you can take it with a grain of salt, but decide to trust them as long as it's not informing the way you treat other people.
By the way, somebody thinks they guessed it. This would have been really good though, because they've actually remembered. People pay attention. Remember my safe word? Here's my credit card. Please don't call the cops.
Oh, yeah. Geez, yeah.
That's really good that people remember that. I'm actually really impressed.
Yep.
That's not it though, but that's a good guess.
This is a screenshot. This is a screenshot from last Monday's episode, which I don't think you'll be able to easily see anymore because I think you took those down.
What's that? Which ones?
Monday's show. The comments on Monday. Oh,
Monday. The reason, I disabled the comments on Monday only the fact that was a non-monetized. It was basically for the people in our community to understand what cyberbullying is about and to basically evaluate a certain thing. It was not towards any other community, and I just had a plethora of people from another community come in and just downvote, do the whole downvote thing, and leave really inflammatory comments to bully, and that's just not permissible on my channel. So
well, that's exactly what's happening in this screenshot, right? What's happening in this screenshot is this person clearly did not watch the video because all of this
None of them did.
And Steve is trying to be like, okay, listen, here's how it works, and this person is just not listening, having any of it.
Yeah.
And then Nick goes on for 12 tweets about.
Oh, it's clearly fake then. Well, no,
it's clearly fake.
Right?
That's me. Never mind. Nobody else does that.
Well.
Yeah.
That's totally me.
He's going on about how that's definitely seems to be counterproductive. I don't think I'm a fan of virtue ethics. Every bully and troll feels justified. Blah 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 blah.
Just out of curiosity, real quick, are they seeing?
Wait.
Hang on. Are the outside chat seeing what you're seeing? Because I'm not sure if they are. I am, but I don't think they are.
Oh my God, are we not showing it?
I don't.
Steve,
it's not on my end.
call a producer. You gotta put my screen share
up. I don't know how am I going to do that. How do I share? You have to share your screen. Well, no, you share. How do you?
What are you talking about?
Oh, okay. I know a way to do it. Hang on.
You need to share your screen, Steve.
Fine,
Why-
relax. No, that's. It's not letting me do that.
Bull? Where's Bull? Somebody call Bull.
Help.
I had one
Bull's-
job.
Bull's sitting there laughing his ass off right now, going, "Who are these clowns, man?"
Okay. Wait. This is gonna mess everybody up, but I think I got it. So screen share. Now you share.
I have to share again.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Just don't put like my Pornhub stuff up there, please.
I'll do my best.
Now they can probably see it. I think. Wait, can no? Oh, well, I got an idea. Wait.
Give it a
One sec. I got this. Relax. We want 10 seconds here. There we go.
All I see is two ladies in Chesh.
Now they can see. I just gotta make this big.
All right. You guys can see what's going. So this is the
Yeah,
meme
they
we
can-
were
they can
talking
see it.
about.
I just gotta
and I'm
make it
gonna scroll back
bigger.
up to the top. This is just the beginning context of what was going on. And then it got like a little bit SJWE, and then Nick went on a rampage.
It's just really small. Can you make that larger on your end?
Yeah.
There. we
Hey,
go.
I do the most polite rampages of anybody you've ever. I'm not
Oh,
a
it's
rampage.
super polite. Like,
I
I'll
think
just
it-
start
it
down
look-
it here real
It
quick.
I don't
and
think it's
say-
legible though. I don't know if they can read that.
I can make it bigger.
Yeah, you might make it much bigger. Much bigger.
It's still up on Twitter too, if anybody wants to
That
see
better?
it. It's not.
Yeah, that's better. They can. If I can read it, then they can probably read it. I'm
Well,
on
I really
Yeah.
did tweet a lot,
720.
didn't
Okay, so yeah, so this was the beginning of the context. Blah 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 blah. This is the screenshot they were talking about. I can zoom in a little bit further if you guys need to.
Yeah, no, I got
It's
it.
just gonna make it
You're
a
good-
little
you're
bit.
good. You're perfect
difficult
right
to navigate. Okay. And then Nick going off, and then Nick going off some more. But this is specifically saying that nobody's 100% right all the time and nobody's 100% wrong all the time. Steve came out yesterday and defended Jimmy, a man he has had a lot of anger towards, defended Matt Dillahunty, a guy who hangs up when he hears Steve's name. If I disagree with Steve on something, I'm pretty sure you meant I usually say so publicly or privately. And when I was getting hammered for the last time I disagreed with him, you know who came to my defense? Steve. So I'll speak up sometimes and get somewhere. Sometimes I don't, but nobody's 100% right and nobody's 100% wrong. And yet this is the perception of Steve, is that he's 100% wrong. He can do no right. And so I engage anyway, despite the extra trolling, despite getting taken advantage of. But in fact, in the face of the view that Steve is wrong about everything he has ever said, of a view that questions everything from his military service to founding of NonSequitur, in the face of this view, even with the maximum charity, sometimes seems to me to truly want nothing more than just to hate on him. It becomes difficult to feel. It becomes difficult. It feels to me very much like a one-sided conversation, and that doesn't help either. Now you can guess who these people blocked out are. I'm just not giving them any attention.
Yeah, and that's by the
Try to
way,
be the
that's my
subject
biggest
of
thing.
Steve's
I don't give any of
misunderstanding.
these people my attention because they're basically the most horrible human beings on the planet.
And Reed makes a good point here. Yeah, that goes both ways. You guys shit on him over anything he does. He does an anti-cyberbullying video with people who have absolutely nothing to do with our community, and you guys jump in and start shitting on it. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And then there's like a side conversation that goes on over here, which isn't terribly huge. It's just there's a couple good points in there. But this is where Mel jumps in. And so that's the context of what we're talking about. It's essentially about people just shitting on somebody because they want them to be wrong. So she jumps in, and this is the thing I get a kick out of. I'm going to chime in for 1 second, then I'm going to leave it alone. Bullshit. It's just, I have not had any productive conversation where I've had a disagreement with him. In fact, his last words to me was that I was harassing him and I needed to stop messaging him. He has been unkind in DM. Steve, you got those DMs?
I have. Okay, here's the thing. I have my data dump. I think people can kind of see it. The problem with my data dump is it's very difficult to read. I have to go by what's called sender ID. This is her Mills sender ID that I've highlighted.
Yeah.
Because when she blocked me, I lost all my DMs to her, and so this is a huge file that. Well, actually, say huge, but it's a lot of data, but it's
There's the
compacted.
link if anybody actually wants to go and see.
But you can
it.
download all. Yeah, you can download your JavaScript. So this is what it is: message create goes to the recipient ID. This is how you would write something to send in a program if you were trying to do something with Twitter,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
this is actually was the end. Well, I don't want to do the end of the conversation yet. I mean, there's more to it than this. So do you want to go?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So I'm just gonna jump. I'm just gonna say what the rest of what she had said because we could essentially go side by side with this, but
Sure.
we'll wait. So then she does 4 tweets in a row, and then like that's apparently the only thing she was gonna say on it. He has retracted apologies and said any other apologies made on behalf of NonSequitur over treatment of me was to save face. His public apology I do not feel was genuine, and that he knew what happened is I direct messaged him when it happened. He stood by any and all behavior.
All right, let's stress one at a time.
Yeah.
One at a time.
Okay, so go with the first one.
First one. I never retracted any of my apologies. What I told her was in DM was that Kyle was only trying to basically suck up to her by doing a fake apology. We all know now Kyle lies. Okay, this is like a fact that's established. I apologized to her after the NonSequitur show dissolution on behalf of the NonSequitur show because I think Kyle did her wrong. I have never retracted that. This makes it sound like I've retracted my apology to her, which I did not do. And so my public apology to her was genuine. So this is a person.
I just want. She can believe that it's not.
Oh, sure. But this goes into her persecution narrative.
You retracted it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because there's no evidence I retracted any of my personal apology to her. This is one of the reasons why I stopped associating with Mel, because I do believe very strongly she thrives on persecution porn. I'm not hesitant to say that. I just distanced myself with her because I didn't want much to do with her. But I gotta tell you, I'm not the only one that notices with her how so much she thrives on this, and we'll get into that a little bit. How she'll start an argument like this, or she'll start drama like this, and then when you call her out on it, she retreats and she gets other people in DMs to try to go white knight for her. This is what she did to me when it came to Anti-Ordinary, which Anti-Ordinary is here on today to talk about that, and somebody else is here on today to talk about this a little bit. So this is what this is her modus operandi. This is what I finally had enough of, and I said, stop doing this, Mel. You're playing the victim card. I'm not going to go after Anti-Ordinary. I'm not going to shoot down her video, but we'll get into that.
That gets into what she said at the beginning, that you were harassed, that you said that she was harassing you and that you needed to stop messaging him, and that you've been unkind in DMs.
I've been unkind in DMs.
None of that is accurate.
Yeah, okay.
Keep in mind that she started with this.
Yeah.
She started with the end of the last conversation and then goes into detail. So she sets the stage and then goes ahead and, because this is tricky language, right? He has retracted apologies and said any other apologies made on behalf of NonSequitur over treatment was to save face. That's tricky language, because what you actually said was that any apologies that were given to you by Kyle were to save face. That isn't retracting apologies, and that has nothing to do with your apology. So this is a half truth.
This is what she does.
But it's a half truth, so that it can easily be like, oh well, no, he retracted it because he said it wasn't true, but that has nothing to do with your apology, and this part is true.
Can I ask?
Go
ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
You did say that Kyle's apology was to save face. His public apology I do not feel was genuine. Fine, whatever. You're welcome to think that. And he knew what happened is I direct messaged him when it happened. So that's referring to when she showed up on NonSequitur. And he stood by any and all behavior, which did not happen.
Yeah, are you further away from your mic real quick? You seem to be a little.
Yeah, I am a little bit.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Well, I was being told I was loud and shrieky in chat.
Can you go a little bit louder though? Real quick. Before we go too much further, since you don't want to read all these JavaScripts. It's just so large. So, I have had people read the entire DM before she blocked me, including Chesh, including Nick, including a few other people. Nick, can I ask you real quick, and this is just straight up yes or no, or whatever you want to add to it. My conversation with her, was I unkind in any way, or was I not unbelievably, I think, sweet compared to what she was coming after me as?
I think you were direct. I don't know. I wouldn't say unkind, but you were direct, which you normally are. And I think it can be seen that way, but I wouldn't personally have had a problem with it. You were direct.
Okay. But was there any unkind words?
I would say that you were nice. I would say that you were nice at the beginning. And then as the conversation went on, you started getting a little bit more terse.
Sure. No, that's fair enough. But that was not being unkind. And we can see why here in a little while, but sure. Okay. Fair enough. I'll take that.
You got flustered.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay. So there's a half truth in here, and then there's one half truth in here, and then an opinion and garbage. Now, again, keep in mind this is the way that we started this conversation. He has since had conversations privately and publicly about how I am a professional victim and don't take his advice. This was after I had a discussion with him on how his opinion doesn't matter to me, shortly after he encouraged and promoted rhetoric that I single-handedly banned AO on Twitter when that was not the case. He never retracted the statements. He even had a hangout to discuss that, among other things. I largely ignore all of this because none of it is productive in finding resolutions with him, especially with his inflammatory behavior.
All right. There's a lot
But
of gold here. Scroll back.
There was never any claim that she single-handedly
Never.
got me removed from Twitter either. That's
Thank you.
just an outright lie.
Yeah, matter of fact,
no,
AO, who did she was? I think okay. Who there was a lot going on here, but the person that we blamed the most for banning you and banning Sarah was whom?
Keon.
Well, I blamed Scientist Mel and Peter because I even made a Snapchat video the day after, but it wasn't baseless. It literally had.
No. I agree with you. They had a hand in it, but most of what we were talking about was Keon, right?
Keon.
Apparently, according to Keon.
Yeah, according to Keon.
I
but
didn't know that until after.
Well, Keon and or Peter.
Or Peter or Mel, because I think they all had a hand in it. Mel, by the way, tried to report me after she blocked me. Okay, this is what she does. This is what we keep saying by people that are actively trying to get something started and then try to report them. She actively does report people to try to ban them. She did, I think, actively report you, Demi. I have no doubt in my mind about that. Or Peter,
Yeah,
or
but
Peter.
there's literally a screenshot on my video when I'm proving her bullshit on my channel. There's a screenshot in there where she literally says she's reporting me because I'm harassing and abusing her. So it's like, you all right? Why is that even a question? You admitted that. I didn't ever think that was going to be their only fallback. I never reported her. That you're really failing if that's your only comeback to my whole video.
Yeah, so let's take a look at this real quick. She says something in here that kind of goes a little bit against what she was saying before. He has since had conversations privately and publicly about how I am a professional victim and don't take his advice. That frames it as if you went to her to have this conversation, which is not the case.
No.
This was after I had a discussion with him on how his opinion doesn't matter to me. Why did you have a conversation about that? That's bizarre to me. Shortly after he encouraged and promoted rhetoric that I single-handedly banned AO on Twitter, which didn't happen. He never retracted the statements. He didn't make the statements you're claiming he did. He even had a hangout to discuss that, among other things. I don't know if I recall this hangout. I don't recall talking about Scientist Mel on this show before, so I'm not sure what she's referring to. I largely ignore all of this because, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
I find it unproductive.
But
so
we did talk about it. You did talk about it, I mean, on Caffeine Corner, when she was, because the main point of my video was, you're calling things harassment that are not harassment. This is just normal discussion.
Yeah,
right.
I just don't remember talking about Mel at all, but...
We might have tertiary kind of thing. I don't recall either, but...
I'd assume she came up. I'd assume...
Yeah, that's fair.
I just assume so.
Sure what she was talking about.
I'm okay with that.
That's fine.
But
I'm fine with it, too. I just didn't remember.
But let's make it very clear. What Mel does, and by the way, people in the audience, you might have had this experience, so you can tell that I'm telling the truth. She will go to people in DM and ask, and basically try to get you to White Knight for her and get her to under support. Now, she did this to me with S.J. Thomason. She wanted my help with S.J. Thomason. Okay, so when she says that she didn't want my help and didn't care my opinion, straight up bullshit. You can ask S.J. Thomason. I know people are like, well, S.J. Thomason's not very honest. Whatever, but she has no reason to lie about this. But she did come to me. She wanted to help with S.J. Thomason because S.J. Thomason, she thought, was spreading rumors about her and blah, blah. And I told Mel I would talk to S.J. Thomason. I did talk to S.J. Thomason in private. S.J. Thomason has said that this has happened. So this thing that she didn't want my opinion or didn't want my help is absolutely bullshit because she has come to me for help. And then she came to me for Anti-Ordinary saying, hey, Steve, you be treated by something by Anti-Ordinary. Does that mean you support her on this? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I do. And she lost her shit. She just could not understand that I was not going to side with her on this. And finally, I was like telling her, Mel, I'm just tired of you playing the victim. I'm tired of you trying to get people to fight your battles. You start shit, you then retreat, and then you claim harassment. Then you try to report people. I didn't tell her that, but after the fact, she tries to report people, which I knew before when she tried to report Demi. This is the modus operandi that I got tired of. And I've told her, people have noticed this. I've had dozens of people message me on this. And she's talking about my behavior. Like, really? Mel?
So, well, there's a thing in here that she contradicts herself a little bit. It's not like a blatant contradiction, but it's there's holes in the narrative because she is spinning it. And this is why we're going over this today. We've got more than just Mel to go over as well. And it's because essentially we were talking about, it's kind of a jump off the platform from last episode, because last episode we were talking about spinning a narrative. And now I would not say that Mel is trying to bully Steve.
No.
And I would not say that she is succeeding in bullying Steve, even if she wasn't trying to. This is more an example of, this is someone trying to spin a narrative. This is somebody latching onto another conversation where there are people that are trying actively to harass Steve, and she's pushing and spinning her own narrative that assists these people.
Now let me make it very clear. She's
purposefully trying.
She associates with people that actively spin narratives. This is uncontroversial. Uncontrovertible.
So she might not be actively trying to harass Steve herself, but she is either one, inflaming the situation, or two, giving her the most possible charity. She's latching onto them to air her own grievances. So she did say that had a conversation privately and publicly about how I'm a personal victim. I don't take his advice. That I don't know. Who cares? And then he shortly
I don't care if she takes my advice or not. What does that matter to me?
But she says this a bunch after you don't take it. You're complaining that she doesn't take your advice.
Why would I care?
Why? Well, okay. Even besides that, why were you giving her advice?
Because she asked me.
If it's framed as if you had a private conversation with her about how she's taking the victim, why were you giving her advice? And if I'm going to chime in, I have not had any productive conversation where I've had a disagreement with him being Steve.
Really? So
then
with
why
her
did
coming,
you go and have a conversation about that your opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah,
to you.
it's
That
like
sounds
bizarre.
Like it was productive.
So why did she come to me about S.J. Thomason 2 months ago? The last time I talked to her.
He's repeatedly pushed me to make response videos to drama, and I have refused. In turn, he asked out and called me a broken woman.
I don't know what she kind of meant by that.
Preyed upon by men and a professional victim. I think that's referring to you guys talking about Peter. I'm not the one in fights every single day crying cyberbully and harassment.
Yes, she does.
Okay, yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are. By the way,
you're doing it right now.
Yeah,
literally.
Okay, literally. Let me clarify real quick. Then I'll turn it over to you guys. Can I see the tweet again? Oh, there we go. I can't. I'm trying to focus my eyes. No, go back. No, he reported. He has repeatedly pushed me to make response videos to drama. Evidence, please. This has never happened. She's trying to correlate this to NonSequitur show. Like, I've asked people on NonSequitur if people are going to make videos. I never pressured anybody making videos. If they don't want to, fuck, whatever. I've never said, please make a video, do this. People have come to me and say, I want to make a video about this. Can you give me some information about it? Sure. The Creepy Reading has done that. I'll tell you, Devin Tracy has done that. There's been other people that have come to me and asked me for clarification on things. That's fine. But when I ask people like Holy Kool-Aid, Rationality Rules, GM Skeptic, I said, are you going to make a video about this? I didn't demand, I didn't repeat anything like that. But where she got this from is where I found out is specifically to Demi.
Yeah.
Demi made a video, and I actually liked her video, and this is what I retweeted. And I said, eventually, I was like, look, Mel, if you got an issue with Demi, make a response video, right? That's what she's talking about here. I figured out. But it's very, very, there's ambivalent here because it could be either one. It could be towards NonSequitur or to Demi, but I didn't push her to make a response video. I said, why don't you make a response video? And I have the screenshot for that
here's the thing. Look at the
DM.
way she phrased this. He has repeatedly pushed me to make a response video to drama and I have refused. What drama are you talking about, for one? And two, what you're referring to is drama about you, that you brought up. Period.
Yeah,
you asked Steve. He said, I'm not going to do anything about this, and said, if you want to do something about this, he gave you some advice about how to deal with it. You already said his opinion doesn't matter. Why was he pushing you to make a response video about drama if you're not talking to him and is opinion doesn't matter and that you've never had a productive conversation, your shit doesn't follow.
Because she DM'd me on it, right? And by the way, it says in turn, he asked out. Now, at first when I saw that, I thought to myself, wait, is she running this narrative that I asked her out or something like that? And I realized maybe it was read wrong, because I don't think that's the narrative she's running, because that's obviously is bizarre. But I tried to figure out what she meant by that. In turn, he asked out and called me a broken woman. I don't remember using the term broken woman, to be honest. I think she's how should I say this politely? I think she's able to be taken advantage of pretty easy by certain people. That is my opinion, but I don't remember using the exact phrase broken woman, but I can't validate that. Maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't
think
recall
somebody
that.
has to go through and comb it, and even if you did,
I'm not saying it doesn't fit. So
it might be harsh. Yeah, it might be harsh sounding, but it's not inflammatory.
It's just not. It's not a phrase. It's not a phrase I generally would use, though.
Define broken women.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's out here literally fabricating shit to lie to the public. Like, I don't understand a healthily functioning person who would go out and do that.
Yeah.
Like, she does it multiple times. She does it all the time. It's not a normal behavior for someone.
Perhaps other people have regularly positive experience with him. My experience, for the most part, and the ones most recently, have not been so pleasant. So you're telling us that you actively are in contact with Steve, and that most of the time your experience are not so pleasant. But that's not, again, you said it was unproductive and you didn't care. So this is, again. And I certainly have no interest in being involved with him or his channel in any capacity, and I've told him as much. But here you are. Yet, here you are.
Right.
I wish everyone the best. I will say, please stop tagging me in any of these. You don't know how Twitter works. I don't find them productive at all, and I don't see how any of this can be resolved at this point. Then why did you don't find this productive? You don't see how any of this can be resolved. You want people to stop tagging you. Nobody tagged you, Mel. You came into this conversation.
No, she was tagged.
Understand how. When? No. She jumped in here on her own.
No, she was tagged in by Keon. Keon tagged in a whole bunch of people, including her, in his original post. That entire thread.
I think he's right on it.
Like one of these ones.
Way back when. Way back when.
She was tagged. She just stayed.
That was.
She stayed quiet, but it was Keon tagged, and this is one of the things I wanted to bring up, which is
I stand corrected then.
Just as wrong. Fire her.
To do this. He tagged her in to do this. He tagged in anybody who had no interest. So when she had said, please don't tag me in, she was tagged in by someone who wanted her to get into a fight with Steve. That's what was wanted. That's why she was tagged in. So
she got played then, because she did exactly what they wanted.
Oh yeah. I don't think this is what I'm saying.
That's why she was tagged in and saying, please stop tagging me in. Nobody who is a friend of Steve's is going to tag her in. That's not going to. No. She wasn't tagged in.
I certainly haven't tagged her. Let me tell you why I don't tag. I have nothing to do with her.
Well, she should have just muted. Is the answer?
Yeah.
Either way.
But let me give a little background here that people may not recall. Several months ago, there was a story said about Mel that was not true. Said by Caitlin Chloe. I had asked Mel about it because I didn't think the story was true, and it found out the story was not true. And so I was trying to explain to Mel, there's a story being said about you. This is when we were released, kind of on terms. And I said, there's a story being propagated by Caitlin Chloe about you. Is it true or not? And Mel took it and ran with it somewhere else. She was talking about something else that happened to her, which was not the story that I was asking her about. They were two different things, and she kept conflating them. And every time I tried to extricate the claim that Chloe was making from her actual history, other people would chime in and say, Steve, she doesn't want to talk about this. You're bullying her, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. I just want to make sure that the claim that people are not talking shit about Mel and saying things that are trying to clarify, but they wouldn't let me. Mel said, I don't want to talk about this. Please leave me alone. And I said, fine. I did not talk to her since that. And she went on for several days, in 100 tweet or so, trying to tell people how bad I was bullying her and I was triggering her and she had panic attacks and all this unnecessary drama over a misunderstanding that could have been clarified in 3 seconds had she just stopped, and listened for a second, but she didn't want to. Fine, whatever. But she went on for several days and ran this narrative that I was bullying her and harassing her. and no means no, and stop means stop. This is important because you'll see at the very end of this, the conversation I had with her in DM. This is what I was talking about, because she kept messaging me after I told her to stop, and I was relating this back to her, saying, "Well, Steve, I asked you to stop, and you did." What I did, by the way, when she told me to stop, there's not a single tweet after that for many months. Go look. She had about, I think, 400 tweets on me or something like that. It was ridiculous.
Can we stop and give Keon props, because he actually finally succeeded in trolling somebody, and it was his own group.
Oh, he is a troll. He doesn't care who he trolls. Yeah, he doesn't care. He's not.
Well,
He's
yeah,
no one.
yeah.
Successfully trolled the hell out of Mel.
Yeah, he trolled. Yeah, of course he did. Yeah,
His,
sure.
his own group isn't his own group. He used to be in my DMs literally all the time trying to get engaged in my fucking drama, and I just don't ever get anyone else involved. I don't need to. I do my shit myself.
Tell people about your video real quick, because there's some backstory there.
Go on. What did you say?
Tell people about the video that you made.
Okay, so like I was TLDW, was that Mel posts memes and shit on her Twitter all the time, and they're the most engaged content on her Twitter platform. So one time I see her do it when I just woke up, and I messaged her. I was like, "Do you have a link to where you got this from? It'd be good to give them credit."
Real quick, Mel, real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but can you mute Nick?
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I making too much
Yes.
background noise? I'll be quiet. Sorry. My bad.
Much better. Oh my God, I noticed that. Okay, thank you.
So I said, "Can you give credit? Can you give a link?" And she retweeted me, and she was like, "I got it from Facebook, but I don't know. I got it from a Facebook group, but I don't know who the original is." And I was like, I asked for the source, so it's not good internet etiquette." And then that was literally all I said. And then I was responding to her white knights because she started retweeting people calling me the meme police because I asked her to give me credit, not me credit, give people credit. And that led to, because I'm responding to her white knights, and she's obviously tagged in it because we were having the discussion earlier, but I wasn't directly tagging her or anything. I wasn't even speaking to her at this point. She then started going around retweeting and telling everyone that I was harassing her and I was attacking her and I was bullying her. And eventually I got suspended from Twitter. I went and made a YouTube video, and I started that video off by clipping a part from the very end of the video and putting it at the very beginning, and it was pretty much me just calling them cunts. And that triggered her. And
that triggered, by the way, that C word triggered her like you wouldn't believe. That's why she messaged me, because you had called her that, by the way.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why, I remember seeing tweets about it, and she's like, "If you're going to call someone a cunt in your video, there's no point in them watching it." I was like, "What are you talking about? You're literally being a fucking cunt. I'm going to call you a fucking cunt."
And I told her that. I was like, it's a word that Australian and British people use. You're triggered over a word. I get called far worse than that. You actually messaged me to call Demi out on calling you that. It's like, that's ubiquitous on the internet. People get called that all the freaking time.
Well, there's something really specific that I want to touch on that Scientist Mel is doing here that is really, really specific, and this is the whole reason why we even brought it up in the first place. Because, like, it's one thing to spin a narrative, and it's another thing to, like, be bullying, and it's another thing, blah, 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 blah. She is publicly complaining about private interactions with Steve. She had a complaint with Steve, but didn't like an interaction that she had with him, and now has talked to, and is now bringing it into the public eye to complain about it. This should immediately be suspicious to anybody who is skeptical. Anybody who is skeptical should immediately read this and be like, okay, well, we're getting out of order snippets about multiple situations, about multiple interactions with Steve. And keeping in mind that everybody knows damn well that Steve does not release DMs. Mm-hmm. Which is easy to abuse. She can say whatever she wants, and she knows Steve isn't gonna show what was being said.
Although I have to make an exception for a little bit today, only part of my moral. I have a lot of moral quandaries going on lately, because I haven't.
He started hanging out with me.
Well, yeah, you think that's funny, Chess, but it's fucking true, okay?
It can be funny and true.
Fair enough. There's a lot of moral quandaries that I have. But since I've been hanging around you, but this was one of my minor ones. I think I'm making the right decision, because I told Mel, if she shows the DMs, which I told her go for it.
This was agreement.
This was agreement. So I don't have a moral quandary with this. because there's an agreement there. Although I don't think I'll make this agreement with everybody ever again. This is a one and done, but I think that there's a higher good to be had here. And by the way, there's a couple more quandaries I had when I made this on Twitter. I said, should I minor things that should I sacrifice my ethics for a greater good? This was only one of a couple different things. So there's a lot of things I'm trying to weigh in right now, whether I should do or not. And it's mainly because of chess, to be honest with you.
I got a few comments on some of this though.
Sure, please, Nick, join in.
A moment.
Yeah,
So I'm reasonably good friends with Mel, and she and I have spoken some about this, and so I got some complaints sort of on both sides, and I've informed her of some of mine of her, and I sort of receptive. The reality is, first of all, I have no idea why she would dive into this, and she said, well, because I was tagged. I get tagged in a whole bunch of stuff. Doesn't mean I involve myself. Getting involved, I think, was a really poor
tagged,
idea.
You're obligated to respond.
Yeah, you're not.
You know.
And she's sitting there going, well, I have an opinion. And so I say, yeah, I have opinions about people too. And usually if they're negative, I try to keep them to myself. And certainly I understand if I engage like that, I'm sitting there going, of course he's going to engage back. So I have no idea what she was thinking. But if she enjoyed the peace, the peace and quiet, shouldn't have done this. This is a phenomenally poor idea. Having said that, she's also accused you of lying about a whole bunch of things. And I went over some of the DMs with her. And in every instance that she was able to show me, you hadn't lied. You had a few tiny just changes in perception on how it went. And I tried to explain this to her, and she said, well, that's not acceptable. And I was like, yeah, but you have the same thing, because in every case where there's been a counterexample of lying. So for example, it seems to me from what she's seen, she actually wasn't, at least explicitly, in any way actually asking for your advice, either with AO or with Steph. In both cases, she contacted you just to find out, hey, listen, do you agree with this behavior?
Okay.
But if you do that engagement, you're going to be engaged.
Yes, that's implicit.
She continues with the engagement even after she says, okay, I'm done with the engagement. She seems to me to continue. Now, one of the complaints that she had was, he's been pushing me to do videos. And I said, could you please show me that? And she showed me what she showed you, the thing with the AO, which was, listen, if you don't like how AO handled it, why don't you make a response video and I'll watch it? That's not pushing anyone to do anything. Now, I can see why, if she's not going back to her DMs and really looking carefully, she's going to see it that way. But that's not what's happening. But I also think the narrative that she was asking for advice isn't necessarily.
And by the way, I will
either.
give you that. I will die on my sword on that one, and let me explain why. When I was twittering this, it sounds weird. When I was tweeting this, I don't know what that.
You old man.
What verb to use here? Is it twittering? That's how any of this works, Steve. I was trying to recall a conversation from long ago, right? And it's not always easy to do. I will agree, she never explicitly asked my advice. This is true. So I was incorrect in that aspect. However, the implicit asking my advice by having a conversation with me in regards to these topics, because she keeps asking me how I view things. That, to me, I interpret implicitly as asking my advice on like AO's video. I don't think I'm wrong to infer that, but was it explicit? No. But she didn't say, hey, Steve, what is your advice on this? Or what is your opinion on this? It wasn't explicit like that. Fair enough.
And then it's incorrect. It's incorrect to say you lied. You were mistaken. Those are two different things.
Yeah, no, well, I wouldn't even say mistake, as perception.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think that's fair.
There's
Perception.
also something to be
At
said
best,
for...
she could argue. At best, she could argue.
Can I recall saying
Nobody...
I don't think I ever said she explicitly asked me for advice. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that I didn't.
Yeah. There's also something to be said for you. It wasn't like this is one bubbled interaction.
Yeah.
They
She's done this
have
before.
had these kind of conversations before, for one, and two, that she didn't correct him either. She didn't say, listen, Steve, I'm not really looking for your advice about this. I just wanted to know if you agreed with the video or not.
Actually,
I'm going to handle it.
I think she did. I think if you look
she
at the
did
DM,
say
she
that
says,
I don't
"I'm not
care."
looking."
Yeah, yeah.
She
No,
said,
she
"I
said,
don't
near
"I'm
the
not
care
end.
about your
Yeah, near the
opinion
end, she
yet."
did.
At the
Yes.
end of the conversation, there was no clarification. Or she can't say
The
that.
very end,
Oh
she
well,
said
Steve
that.
was pushing me and giving me advice that I didn't ask
Well-
for. When you had a whole conversation without
Well,
clarifying.
here's the thing. But when I was not siding with her, that's what she said it.
Yes.
Right, as a kind of a defense mechanism.
Well,
and that's but.
This is
just
what I mean
clarifying,
by
she
tricky.
did say it.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
what I
it
mean
does
by
get tricky.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I mean by specifically using tricky language to not implicitly or
Nick has read the entire DM, so
explicitly
yes.
saying anything. Yeah. So she's like she's very careful. Like, look at the way these are worded. She's sets up this, then she goes on to talk about retracting apologies, which didn't happen because she's taking something else that was said. Then about this AO
I think that's
being
another good
downstairs.
example. Yes.
Mhm.
This is very, very slippery language on purpose, because we can't go back and say, oh, well, she lied about this. Well, no, she didn't lie about this, but she misrepresented everything that happened.
And
Well,
this is
I
why I'm
think-
really
well,
hesitant to.
But I think there's been a
have
bit of
conversation
that
with
on both sides, and that's
Well,
sort
look
of one
at
of the
right
things.
here. This is
Yes.
a bold-faced lie. As soon as we go to the next thing. So Steve responds, right? Steve responds and says, I never asked you to make response videos because you think she's talking about non-sequitur.
Right.
You came asking me to white knight for you because of something a Demi said, and I refused. You are a professional victim.
Professional.
And I told you to stop DMing me, and I was not your personal weapon to be used against other people. That is a bold-faced lie. I never asked for your help. I didn't want it. I said that repeatedly in DMs, in thread. Then I'm leaving this. And then she goes ahead
there's so much convolution going on here because, as I said, I thought she was talking about non sequitur. This is the way I interpreted that.
Yeah.
And I didn't remember the conversation I had with her saying that she should have made responsibility for Demis. That never crossed my mind until I actually reread the DMs and Nick read them and Chess read them. But again, she didn't explicitly ask me, but this is how I definitely inferred from it. She hasn't ever said, hey, Steve, we would white knight for me. Clearly, obviously, people don't do that. But I have gotten the impression, and other people have gotten the impression, that she will DM people to get them on her side. And then she has a straight up army that has gone after people. Prior to SJ, another conversation that I had with her was with somebody named Doc Hackenslash and somebody named with Peter, who is also known as Gonna Go For It. These two people I find to be very reprehensible people that I want absolutely nothing to do with it. One of them actually was exposed as being a complete liar, and I don't remember the details on Doc Hackenslash, but he threatened me. He physically threatened me and threatened to go after my Twitter and to find me, and he was just a very psychotic person who I just blocked right off the bat. So there's a lot of history there, and I was telling Mel about this. She didn't want to believe any of this, right? She didn't want to believe about Doc Hackenslash. She doesn't want to believe about Peter. Fair enough.
Oh well, the evidence on Doc
producer
Hackenslash,
now.
most of it Peter himself accrued, so Peter knows all that stuff. I don't know what the
he knows now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, now.
But back then they were buddies.
Yeah. Oh yes, they were.
Yeah. Now,
so here's the DMs.
you know the details on Doc Hackenslash more than probably anybody, but we're not going to get into that. But what I'm saying makes sense, right?
Oh yeah.
So remember earlier in this conversation over here saying she's not the one going around crying cyberbully and calling harassment? Let's just go right over here. Hi, Steve. AO is being abusive to me in this video. Your retweeting seems to be an endorsement.
Now, but by the way, this is her sharing our DMs, which I allowed her to do, so not a problem. I said, go for it. Okay,
Yep.
so I'm not condemning her for that. I'm glad she did. I wanted her to because then it was like, okay, well now I have less of an ethical issue to show the rest of the conversation here because I wanted to show it in context, which I don't think she did.
Well, but this.
Well, maybe somewhat. I mean, it's hard to show in
Somewhat
context
it
because there's so much. I'm not even going to fault her for
Well,
that. There's so much context
the
there.
problem is there's so much, and she
Right.
doesn't actually address the things that people were taking issue with. She does show that, like, no, I wasn't asking for you to make a video about you were pressuring me, quote unquote. That's how she should interpret it. It does show you telling her to make videos, but the misunderstanding is in the way she worded this, because it's, again, you thought she meant non sequitur or about any drama. This is not what you're referring to.
And this is why, quite frankly, it's crystal clear to me. I can get one thing from this that I know for a fact. The two of them shouldn't be talking to each other.
I want nothing to do with her.
Oh, I know that, but I'm sitting there going, so I have no idea why she thought it was a good idea to engage.
I have no idea. I left her alone,
this was a really poor decision.
but I'm not going to let her
Yes.
to smear me like this because she's hanging out with people that actively do smear me. People on her channel actively smear me, and she's falling into
Okay,
that.
so yeah. Let's give.
But we
Mel
that
the
very very first thing out there. Talk about with Demi. Ayo is being abusive to me in this video. Abusive. You're an abuser, Demi.
I know, but she never actually addressed anything I actually said. Like, the only tweet she ever made was, "Oh my God, Demi called me a cunt." And I'm like, fucking well done, genius. I call my mum a cunt, you cunt.
That was her
get
argument.
the fuck
That was
over
abusive language to her. And I'm like, oh, give me a break now.
take a look down here. I'm actively reporting her for harassment and bullying.
Thank you. She lied about that on Twitter. She's like, I'm not doing this. And then she even said before, oh, even after she blocked me, somebody says, why don't you report whatever? Like, she didn't mention my name, but she said, I report bullies. She tried to report me. It didn't fly, but she actively was targeting you. Demi? Actively.
Oh, this one? Are you talking about this screenshot?
Yeah, there you go.
This one?
Yeah, that one. Thank you. Oh, yeah, by the way, receipts, bitches. Receipts.
What's it say?
By the way, Chesh is the greatest. Oh my God, she knows.
Jesus, yeah, Chesh has bailed my ass out.
Holy shit.
I report all harassment. Always have.
Yep.
So that means that Mel, anytime she has decided that something is harassing to her or abuse or bullying, she has harassed it. So anytime she has said that somebody has harassed her and said she didn't report it, here she is saying that she always has.
Right.
Which is literally anything. Like, she literally, you can just respond to a thread that she was tagged in and you're harassing her.
Well, but again, though, this is where it strikes me that there's just phenomenal miscommunication. I don't think she's arguing that she didn't report. I think she was arguing that she didn't mass report or try single-handedly to get Demi off. But then again, nobody ever claimed that's what she did.
Yeah,
exactly. So there's what happens is she takes a claim that isn't really true and then replies and then gets hit for a reply that isn't strictly
Could you
speaking
say
true.
That she's maybe strawmanning people to argue something that they didn't say?
Yeah.
I don't think it's deliberate, but I think that's what's happening. But I think it's happening to her as well. It happens both ways.
I think at the very least, it's subconsciously she does it.
It's not happening from me.
No.
I haven't done that to her. She can just go fuck herself.
So let me ask you this, Demi, and Nick and Chesh. See the next comment. Do you endorse her comments regarding me? That's a question, asking my opinion, is it not?
Yeah. Well,
that's a really good fucking point.
This is how I read it. I mean, that when she says she didn't come to me asking for my opinion, then why is she asking me, do you endorse her comments regarding her? That is asking my opinion on her video, if I endorse it or not. She's wanting to know whether I endorse it. How is that not relating to my view and my opinion? I'm sorry, but her narrative doesn't fly here.
Yep. Europe said I do not find it abuse. Not everything is abuse. You need thicker skin, which is your opinion. Which
Sure,
is
that's
fine.
my opinion.
Whether
She asked my opinion. Then she said she didn't ask my opinion. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Disagreeing with me is not the same as harassment. What? Constantly pushing for me to have a conversation I left is. If you can't understand that, that's on you. I don't have a cult-like following. You do. Calling me.
Now she's going after me, right? She's like,
what?
I was trying to recuse myself from the conversation. I didn't want to have a conversation about Mel with this, and this is her. She's showing these screenshots, thinking that it helps her, and I'm like, this is why I wanted to show it because I don't release DMs. But I was like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So here's the thing. You gave your opinion. She said never mind. Now, she did say never mind first, but you can't expect to ask somebody that, then just say never mind and expect them not to respond. That's just not reasonable.
Well, I have the same objection to what she said when she came into that conversation, which is she said, I'm just going to give my opinion and then I'm going to leave. And it's like, well, you can leave, but don't expect that people aren't going to continue to respond.
Exactly.
This is what she does.
A way to try to stop the response.
Caitlin Clory did the exact same thing. I called her out for the exact same thing. Caitlin Clory would start something, she would recuse herself, and then she would have Godless Engineer come fight White Knight for her, messaging me on Facebook going, Steve, stop harassing my wife. Fuck you. She started it. She said something to her wrong. I corrected her. That's not harassment.
She's a big girl.
Yeah.
Come on.
This is oh my God. This is so much of a pattern with these people.
What was said over here? What was it? Something about where did it go?
Oh, look at the pumpkin.
I never asked for where is it? I didn't ask for his opinion. Because I'm pretty sure it's in the first set. Oh, there we go.
Well, I think she said.
I don't.
I'm pretty sure she
Oh
said
no, I
right,
don't
yeah.
take his advice. Ignoring the. Oh yeah, I don't find this productive. I've never had like, hey, I don't discuss these
Oh,
kinds of things.
she
You
had
don't discuss these kinds of
Wait,
things.
she had numerous tweets
You
after
brought it up.
she had numerous tweets after she blocked me, going, "Oh, well, I only take advice from people I trust," which I think is a fair thing. I'm the same way. But she still asked me. I mean, that was when she said that she wasn't asking my opinion. Is this bullshit? Now, granted, she may not value my opinion. Fine, but then she thinks I'm somehow butthurt that she doesn't value my opinion or take it. I don't care whether she takes my advice or not. Why would I care?
Yeah. So over here we've got her saying that I don't. You don't. After discussion, his opinion doesn't matter to me. I didn't ask for his opinion. I didn't blah 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 blah. Yeah, you did. Here you are doing it. So she said that disagreeing with me is not the same as harassment, because I'm assuming she means the video that is disagreeing with like Anti-Ordinary's video, disagreeing with. If she was disagreeing with Mel, it wouldn't be a problem, but she doesn't like that you use the word cunt, or that you have that it's not accurate to say that it's a cult-like following.
I think she definitely has a cult-like following. I'm sorry. That is my opinion, and I'm standing by that. That's my opinion, though. That's fine.
You hadn't said this yet, though.
No.
This was I'm assuming in reference to the video. Now keep in mind that could be, you could argue that. So go argue that. Mm-hmm. Why are you here saying this?
Yeah, I think Demi argued that. Demi, didn't you say something like that, if I remember?
Like, I made a whole lot of different arguments in my video. It was like a 40-minute long video, and she literally just addresses the most frivolous shit.
She addressed one word out of it, the C word. That was her biggest complaint, not any of your
That was literally,
points.
Yeah.
Right. But anyways, go on.
I and others have experienced it. Cunt is a word Brits and Aussies use. It is a word. Misrepresenting the situation is abuse.
Oh my God.
Hey, Mel, what are you doing over here? Is it abuse by your own definition?
When I say that she's a professional victim, I am not exaggerating. I am absolutely convinced she is a professional victim. I'm sorry. That is my opinion, and if people disagree, that's great. God bless you. But I'm telling you, anybody who's had any interaction with Mel for an extended period of time that disagrees with her, I think would agree with that. And I've had people message me countless times on that. And she's talking about my behavior. It's funny. The people that agree with her are the woke folk, the people that the fuck Steve crowd. And yet the people that agree with me, people that actually kind of agree with Mel on a lot of things, scientifically speaking, they have nothing against her personally. But on this issue, they do agree that she plays the victim card all the fucking time.
Helios makes a really good point. No, she didn't ask for his opinion. What she asked for is unwavering support. She just wanted a yes man, not an actual.
Well, that's the implied. She didn't ask that specifically, Helios, but yeah, that's the implicature that I got out of it. This is what I'm saying. She came to me to White Knight for her like she has before with other people. Other people she's done this to. I'm not the only one. So if you're out there and she's ever like came to you for this stuff, and by the way, maybe somebody in the chat here might want to speak up, but you know. It has happened on more than one occasion. I'm not the only one that she goes to. In fact, mentioned earlier, hey, this is public now, but hey, Nick, you had a conversation about with this. Did you go to her about it?
No. Did I? No, she came to me.
Okay, there you go. Going on.
Misrepresenting the situation is abuse. It's profanity. It's profanity and derogatory, meaning the word cunt.
Then take it up with Anti-Ordinary. Why is she coming to me on this?
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if people insult
Mel,
with pejoratives.
Honestly, you should. Yeah. So Steve says, Mel, honestly, you should take some constructive criticism here. You overplay the victim card, and many others notice this. This is incorrect, and if you're going to be a public person, get thicker skin and avoid the victim card. It is overplayed and starting to work against you. That's fair criticism. Like, even if she doesn't agree, she cannot agree with that, but there's nothing malicious here. I'm not playing the victim card. What did you say at the beginning? Hi, Steve. AO is being abusive to me in this video.
Right. I mean,
I'm not playing the victim card. Hi, Steve. AO is being abusive to me in this video.
That's and again, these are not isolated things. This is a pattern.
She goes out of her way to misrepresent people and to smear their character to her followers, and I don't see how that's not abusive. But me calling you a cunt or someone saying you're playing the victim card, that's just crossing a line.
What do you mean? She agrees that misrepresenting the situation is abuse. So what she's doing is abuse.
Well,
comes
according to her
back
own standard,
exactly
yeah.
to the beginning of the discussion, she's just being passive aggressive. She
Oh.
can't handle the fact that I'm being actively aggressive and just
Oh,
calling her a
passive
cunt.
aggressive.
You are.
I'm starting to
you
think
are
that
right
was
now.
not an accident that was brought that was
Hey.
defined early in there.
Boy, Nick pays attention. He can't get anything past that $400 suit.
No.
So this is Steve saying that other people have said that she's overplaying the victim card and that she's doing it right now. She says that's garbage. You're fine to disagree. This isn't harassing you. This isn't calling you any names. This is saying, hey, you're doing this thing and people are.
I thought I was being pretty. I'm
criticism.
Kurt, but I'm Kurt, but I'm certainly not.
You're not being.
I'm not
Kurt
being.
right now.
I'm
You're
not being
kind.
mean. I mean, I'm not trying to be. What's the word she used? What was the word she used that she said I was?
Unkind.
Unkind. I'm not trying to be unkind. I'm trying to tell her, like anybody,
You're being
a friend, even though I wouldn't maybe call her that, but I mean, if Chess said to me, "Hey, Steve, I think you're overplaying the victim a little bit," I'm going to take it to heart and go, "Maybe what am I doing here? Maybe I should change my approach." Because, like I said, it's very difficult when you're in these situations like non-sequitur. I don't want to be the play the victim, even though I am a victim here, but I don't want people to watch my shit because I got fucked by that, right? That's not how I
did you
I
notice
roll.
that she brought up non-sequitur? Like the issues with non-sequitur? Like she brought up that the thing that happened where she didn't want to be on the show talking to incels or something?
Yeah. She had, before she brought that up, and she thought that Kyle kind of manipulated her and direct, which he kind of did, and that's why I apologize on behalf of the show to her.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, take it as constructive criticisms or don't. I have nothing personal either way and no stake in the game. Look, there's Steve being done with the conversation.
I'm pretty blunt. Again, this is how I talk to people. It's very
and like
concise
you said,
for a
you
reason.
Clarified multiple times that you're not trying to attack her. You're just trying to give constructive criticism. Calling me a cunt in a video, actively misrepresenting a situation, and repeatedly pushing for a conversation I've left is abusive and sad.
Evidence.
You mean this evidence of her doing that thing?
No, I want evidence I misrepresented anything. There's no, and I want even more evidence that I actively misrepresented anything.
I would like that too, by the way. I really would. And by the way, why is she caring if I think it's abuse or not? If she doesn't want my opinion, why is she trying to convince me that you abused her?
Yeah, because now she's active.
She's coming to me trying to convince me that you have abused her, and then says she doesn't want my opinion or care what I think. Then why is she messaging me? I don't understand this.
She also said that she didn't have conversations with you, and here's her starting a conversation. This is really hard to read, but this is 6/24/19, if I'm not mistaken, or 8/24/19. So no, it's 6 because this is 8/19. This is 8/16/19. So this is from months ago.
Well, whenever
or
she made her
days
video,
ago, at least.
it was
or days ago.
It was yeah, it wasn't that long ago. But go on.
So, but this is her entering a new conversation. Sure. She's asking.
The last conversation I had with her was in August, so it was 2 months ago.
So she's completely misrepresented what's gone on in the way she's portrayed it here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have not done anything. I've not tweeted her. I've not mentioned her in tweets for 3 months. So yeah.
Well, no, I think it's been only about a month because I think there's been some other engagements since then. But it's been at a minimum a month since you have mentioned her.
If there is, I don't recall it, but okay, I'll go with that.
Whatsoever.
But it's been a while. The last DM I had from her prior to this was in August. That's all the only thing I know that I can actually validate.
Yep. So here you then say it's a word, Mel. That's not constructive or useful. Nothing she has said is constructive or useful. Okay, so here's the thing.
So why not demonstrate that? Why not? If you like when people made videos about me making claims I was hypocritical or X, Y, and Z, I debunked that shit. If you're really this passionate, you're gonna waste all your fucking effort going to try and talk to people in the DMs. Like, one, it's pathetic. But two, just make a video demonstrating why I'm such a fucking bad person, why I made such a shit video.
Yeah, put up or shut up.
You have nothing.
Yeah. And on top of this she's saying that's not constructive or useful to it's a word, Mel, a word, without any of the other, she's not addressing any of the other shit you said. That's dishonest.
Deliberately.
Yes, that's dishonest. So when she
says that's the thing, imagine if she wanted to actually make a response video, all she'd be able to do is play the first 2 seconds at the very beginning of my video where I call her a cunt, and then be like, "Ow, ow, that really hurt my feelings."
I think her screenshots mentioned this.
Wow, she's such a horrible person, and that would have been the whole response because like she had nothing.
Keep going.
The thing is that she's saying that Demi doesn't have anything constructive or useful to be said, and she's not addressing any of the thing that Steve said. And then when she talks over here, she says that nothing Steve said has ever been constructive. She's never had a constructive. Maybe that's because you're not addressing the shit he's actually saying. Maybe.
But it's a pattern now as well, because you're saying that about multiple people who have had valid criticisms of you.
So here's then Steve saying, well, then argue back. Exactly what Demi just said. And then she claims that Demi is all erratic emotion with nothing but opinion.
Well, I'll give her the nothing but opinion thing. I'll say, well, I'm entitled to my fucking opinion.
Apparently, she discussed it with Demi yesterday. She didn't like the answer, her problem. People are allowed to disagree with you, Mel. Remember when you said disagreement wasn't harassment? So Demi disagreeing with you isn't harassment like you're claiming it is. So no. You really need to stop thinking everything is abuse or harassment. Sorry, go ahead.
If I recall, well, it's been a while since I saw that video, but if I recall, 80% of that video, maybe 90% was about Peter, and then 10% was about Mel. And if I recall too, some of these objections that she's bringing against Steve, you know, I think Mel said that she had done a lot of reporting, but I don't think Steve said it. So she may be conflating who said what. Even if Steve stands by the video, you know, that doesn't mean he said what AO said.
Yeah, And by the way, like I said, Peter. People don't know this. Peter is her producer. Peter, AO and I, and maybe other people, we're not fans of Peter by any stretch of the imagination. And so Mel takes that very personally because I think he's a disgusting human being. But that's just my opinion. Other people can vary. I don't care what people believe. But Mel takes that personally that I just cannot stand the guy.
I think AO wanted to say,
Demi, what were you
say I was wrong.
I've lost it. I'm too high. I can't. No, it's gone.
You want to say how much you adore Peter, right?
No, I'm indifferent. I don't care about bitches.
Oh, you moved to a different seat? That's good. That's
they mean nothing to me. They hold no real estate in my mind. I make a video. I have content. My channel's not dead for another week, and that's it.
Yeah, no, I think that's wise. Well, I haven't mentioned Peter in years. And so I never even thought about him until recently, where he started interjecting himself in all this stuff, coming back around, sniffing around because the cockroaches are scurrying. Peter comes out of the hole that he lives in. And I'm like, okay, fine. I will then bring him back up because he did some wretched shit. But anyways, that's for another video. But go ahead. Yeah. Continue.
But I never, can I just say, I just remembered what I was going to say, and I never actually said she'd reported me multiple times. All I said was what she said in her tweet. I literally just read her tweet out on my video, and on her tweet she said, I'm blocking you now. I report people for abusing and harassing me. Literally, as she's saying, I'm abusing and harassing her.
Passive aggressive, though. She didn't say I'm reporting Demi. That's passive aggressive. Yeah. It's like I report all harassment, but I'm not saying Demi's harassing me. Whatever. Well, actually, she did say that.
You're abusing and harassing me, and I report people that are abusing and harassing me.
Logical argument, right?
1 + 1 = 2, bitch.
Yeah, I agree with you 1,000%. That's basically.
Remember when I said slippery language earlier?
But it's a logical argument. I report all harassment. You're harassing me, ergo, I'm reporting you. That's how the logical argument would follow. But anyways, we're way over time here.
She has fans.
We're running for another 20 minutes at most.
You said she then claims again that Demi is erratic and ridiculous. The argument was circular, and Get's argument was garbage. Well, I disagree, and I think she made her case. You're referring to the video. She's referring to the conversation that she had with Demi, apparently. Pointed out that she got angry and rude. Oh, no.
The only conversation
you called somebody erratic and ridiculous, and they didn't want to talk to you anymore. Weird.
Now this is important, the next thing that I say.
She never said that to me publicly, because I would have hotted her out. She never said that to me publicly.
Yeah.
She's saying that behind my back. That's a little bit worse because I can't tell the bitch, but you know.
If you don't, then make a video and tell people why. That's
Oh,
not my
oh,
problem.
oh, wait.
Then
So
why
wait,
is it, if it's not your problem?
wait,
No,
did I
real
tell her?
quick, if
Did I repeatedly demand she makes videos? No.
No.
That's not the narrative.
I'm pretty sure that message means you just held her at gunpoint.
Yep. That's not my problem.
I
she
think
says.
that's evidence of a literal crime.
Hey Mel, real quick. If it's not your problem, why are you making it Steve's problem?
I have no idea why she's bothered.
That's what I don't understand though. I made my video. I went to my friends and asked for advice. Like I was like, what did you think about the video? Did I fuck it up? Did I do okay? I got my advice back, got my feedback, and that was it. I literally never spoke to anyone about it, never brought it up or anything. That's it, done. It's literally irrelevant to me, but you're the one out here trying to convince people. I made my shit and left it for other people to decide. The only people I spoke to were my friends about it.
And here's the difference, though. Debbie and I have clashed on opinion of different things, but she's not a passive aggressor. She's not butthurt. She'll be like, "Hey, Steve, I think you're wrong. Fuck off." I'm like, "Okay, hey, this, whatever. It's all good." It doesn't change our dynamic because she asked me what I think, and I told Debbie I will always give her my honest opinion because I value her product. I mean, if she puts out a video and she wants to have it honestly evaluated, why beat around the bush? I'm going to tell her what I think. And most of the time I agree with her, but sometimes I don't. But she doesn't go, "Oh, fuck you, Steve." She goes, "Okay, thank you very much. I disagree. Let's move on." That's fine. Isn't that what adults supposed to do when you ask people's advice? She doesn't take it. I don't care. Go, Debbie didn't take my advice.
I want to sum up what's happened real quick. She came to Steve asking about his opinion of this video. Steve said that he doesn't care, essentially, and that this is a non-issue to him. Mm-hmm. She then tries to convince him that it's abuse. You say, "Hey, here's some constructive criticism." She says, "That's wrong." Well, that's fine. She's welcome to agree to that. She then starts making claims about Demi and trying to convince Steve that this was the case for what her interpretation of her conversation with Demi was, which we kind of don't really trust that, but it's okay. That's her interpretation, fine. Then, right here, when you said, so what if she got mad? Why does that matter? She switches to attacking Steve. I don't do this drama garbage like you and her. I give my opinion when asked. She asked.
I don't do drama at all. And again, I want to clarify.
You're calling it drama, but you literally went out there and actively made allegations that I'm harassing you to the public and to trying to damage my character
and mine.
Me defending myself publicly against both you and Peter because you both decided to fucking suck each other's dick on this. I mean, because I decided to defend myself, that's somehow.
And that's the same thing with me. I defend myself, or I will have discussions like this. And if people want to call that drama, I really don't care how you use the term. I don't use it that particular way. To each his own. But she does drama. That's all that I see from her on Twitter. When it comes to starting things, what I mean by drama is going out of your way to try to provoke somebody passive aggressively is drama to me, and this is exactly what she does.
Literally,
I don't do that.
Literally turning around and saying someone is harassing you because they ask you for a source to a meme. That is drama. You are creating drama. That was nothing. That was just a mundane post.
I want to point out something really quick. Mm-hmm. You guys are late to the boat on this one. I was blocked by her ages ago when she claimed I didn't care about rape victim statistics.
Yeah, I remember that. I do remember that.
For that, if anybody cares.
Oh my god!
All right, let's get through this real quick.
Your YouTube. Yeah, I guess that's whatever drama. I don't.
Yeah,
care.
She tried to run that narrative with a bunch of people.
This.
Yeah.
This is the third time she's trying to get you to fight. She's trying to provoke you here. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Now remember, this is private. By the way, remember this. I mean, again, I don't mind her sharing because I told her she could, but I didn't get provoked. She was trying to provoke me, but I never did. I was never unkind to her. This narrative that I'm in. By the way, people that know me, that talk to me frequently, I talk to hundreds and hundreds of people all the time. Right? My DMs, people have seen them. It's just ridiculous. I don't. This narrative that Steve is this hostile person is such bullshit. I try to resolve things as much as possible. Even in private. So
there are 6 times that she tries to provoke Steve about this, and he's just not taking the bait. And then finally she says, "I messaged you as support." I'm sorry, excuse me, Mel. You messaged him for support.
You don't value my opinion. You don't care what I think. I'm not your friend, but you messaged me for support. Wait, what? What?
Could you
then,
read that a little more? I don't recall that one. I've recalled every piece of
I
this conversation,
messaged
but
you.
that one.
Yeah. Steve said, I'm giving my advice, take it or don't, totally up to you. She then said, because Steve is butthurt that you don't take his advice.
Yeah,
I never take Steve's advice.
Yeah, but you know what? You're the same way as Debbie. You ask me for my opinion sometimes, and I give it. And if you take it, great. If you don't, whatever. Have I ever cried to you and go,
Steve
"Oh my God,
takes
Nick didn't take my advice"?
advice.
Please.
No, you just gloat when you're right and I'm
Sure.
wrong.
Oh,
That's
damn right.
You gloat like
But
there's
you
no
haven't
tomorrow.
been right with me yet because I'm amazing.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm correct. God's Otter is right. She actually wrote it wrong, but it says, I messaged you as you support. Oh, sorry. Yeah, she didn't ask for support. Sorry, my mistake. I did misread this. I messaged you as you
Okay, fair
support
enough.
an erratic and irrational person who's fine nothing but spout garbage arguments.
All right, fair enough. I think you did misread that. So
What?
that's why it was kind of a
Yeah, I
surprise to
did
me,
misread
because I'm like, really,
Yeah,
Mel?
that's why
Okay.
I want a clarification.
Fair enough. Good catch,
There's
God's Otter.
no advice here, just your personal opinion.
No advice there? That
It-
she's overplaying the victim card? That would be advice.
That's
If
both.
overplaying the
It can
victim card
both be
saying-
your opinion and advice.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Saying talk about it publicly or make a video demonstrate is advice, and your opinion is that it's not harassment. So that's incorrect. You don't need my support. You need to stop being so thin-skinned. So if she wasn't asking for support, this would be where she should correct it.
Yeah, I may have misread that too.
I messaged you
But
as you support an erratic and irrational person. Okay, fine. That's fine. You don't need my support.
I may have
So
misread that as
you-
well, actually. I think I did what you did, if I remember.
you might have
looking at
misread
this.
that, but
It's
at
so
the
hard. I
same
talk to so many
time,
people.
She
Well,
doesn't deny that she was asking for it either.
I think she does. First of all, I think she does later on.
She does deny it later on,
So
but
many-
there's still implicature
so many
there.
things at a time
Yeah.
on a thread. But this is why I'm also really disappointed that she blocked you, because the reality is, my experience has been, and I tell people this, and they always look at me like I've got like three heads. My experience has been that if you're wrong, you correct yourself. That's been my experience. And if you look at these carefully, maybe you're not right about all your perceptions. You've got some valid.
Oh,
points,
sure.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I
she
read
blocks-
thousands of things a
blocks you.
week,
How you
man.
gonna do it?
You guys know how much messages and things I get. I'm inundated all day long between people sending me Patreon messages and emails and Twitter DMs and Facebook.
There's
And I
also
love it.
an-
Don't get me wrong, but it's a lot to read every fucking day.
Well, and
There's
she's made
also an
mistakes too.
implicature here. There's also an implicature here that I think we might be missing. I messaged you as you support an erratic and irrational person. How did she start this conversation?
AO abused her.
No,
So
she was
why
asking
are
if you support.
Why
She
are
was
Yeah.
you
asking if-
supporting? Why are you supporting an abuser and not me?
Yeah, it's a narrative that AO is an abuser. Which
So
I don't
she's
feel
saying,
that way.
I
I'm
messaged
sorry.
You as you support an erratic and irrational person who's abusing me. Why are you supporting this person? Why aren't you supporting me?
Yeah, because I don't think she's an abuser.
In between the line, this is what I mean by she's using very slippery
Passive
language.
aggressive.
She doesn't say any of these things, but all of these things are implied in any honest reading, the way normal people interact.
Yeah, I don't think I took
then
I don't think I took an
she says
uncharitable
you're stirring
approach.
the pot, which is not the case because at no point you had said anything publicly about this.
No.
I'm not thin-skinned. I have low tolerance for time wasters. Okay. Then ignore her. Why are you running to me? More advice. I leave arguments that are useless. Okay. I agree with Demi on this. Okay. I'm not running to you. Yeah, you are. Demi and I are not exactly each other's fans.
And by the way, at that
Raw,
time,
erratic
we
garbage
kind of
arguments
weren't.
about me.
We've
Got it.
subsequently have become much better and closer, and I love that actually. I do consider Demi an actual real
Completely.
friend, and I'd love to have a pint with her one day.
You know,
We're gonna make
Steve,
that
you
happen.
told me to get through this shit fast.
Sorry, I gotta have exposition. Go ahead. We got plenty of time. What the hell? If people can turn away if they want to go watch something else. Fine.
Wait. So when Chesh is talking, she needs to hurry up because we're on a time crunch. When you're talking, we got loads of time. and
Yeah,
everything.
it's-
Hey, I'm the man here. God damn it.
Oh.
Oh my god. You agree with raw erratic garbage arguments about me. Okay, so demonstrate that these are the arguments. She's making claims now, and she's saying that Steve agrees with these arguments and misrepresenting them. So she's also misrepresenting Steve's. This is passive behavior right here. You agree with raw erratic garbage arguments about me. Got it.
Yeah.
That is fucking the definition of passive aggressive. First thing you said was that AO was being abusive to you. Abusive. That speaks volumes about you. So now it's like more passive.
Now it's all about me. Now she's attacking me because I'm not agreeing with her.
Well, she started attacking you a little while.
Oh,
She
yeah,
tried to
sure.
bait you, didn't work.
She
Now
tried to
she's
bait me.
just
Oh, absolutely,
she's
she tried to bait me.
passive-aggressively attacking you.
Yeah.
You throw the word around daily. Boop-a-doo, ba-doo. Over here. Verbal abuse is abuse. That's not what a singular word is not verbal abuse.
Yeah.
That's not what verbal abuse is. As somebody who went through that, fuck you.
Yep.
No, you don't. Jesus Christ, Steve. Everyone who disagrees with you abuses you or harasses you. That's not true at all. Correct. He's paraphrasing the shit that you say on the regular. Oh, that's not what you say? Let's just go right over here and just talk about this real quick. Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Haven't had any productive conversations where I've disagreed. His last words that I was harassing him. And remember when you said that pushing a narrative was harassment? Huh. Misrepresenting is harassment? Huh. 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 Oh, you're claiming his behavior is inflammatory.
Yeah, I think I was pretty mellow in this entire conversation with her.
Repeatedly.
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
Back
more?
over. Sorry.
Yep.
Here we go. So she's attacking you, essentially. It's passive aggressive, but it is. It is what it is. And at no point you haven't until about now you didn't take the bait until you were like, okay, listen, this is what you're doing, and this is where you start getting more terse. Which, whatever. I'm just giving you my observations. Yes, it is very true. Ask around. We don't need to ask around. We can look at her messages. Your observations are skewed and incorrect. I just showed you guys how that's not the case. You think I'm the only one who notices. You may wish to ask more people. I don't care what you think. It never have. Really? You don't care? Okay. I just said, so now she's trying to turn it around. She's baited you in, and now she's being like, well, I didn't care what you thought anyway. She's trying to make you feel bad. I just said it is way more than just me who thinks this, including many of your own friends. Ask around. I've heard plenty about you and keep my mouth shut. Great. We're not talking about me.
Yeah, that's it. It's not about me. People hear all kinds of shit about me, but the people that actually come to me and ask me and actually look at my evidence, those are the ones I win over. Those are the ones become actual loyal viewers of the show here and the channel because, oh shit, they go, God damn, what's that thing? You were right, Steve. I have evidence for a lot of things, but I don't show a lot of things in public because that's not my nature. But yeah, I want people to come ask me stuff in private because I guarantee it, half my audience here has probably asked me a question in private and I've responded to them and I've given them the details and they've saw the evidence. So a lot of them in my live chat have.
Keep in mind real quick here. I've heard plenty of you and I keep my mouth shut. Really? Because Nick said something nice about you and she comes.
Yeah. Nick was saying something nice about me and she decided to throw in on that. You kept your mouth shut? Okay, interesting. Super chat.
Came to me, Helios for $5, Cheshire, with your skills at documentation, have you considered a job as a lawyer or in corporate negotiations and or data integrity and analysis? I mean, that'd be cool if somebody can hook me up with someone. I'd do that.
Oh,
hell yeah.
I think you got mad skills.
You came to me, I gave you my opinion. The point, people talk garbage all the time. Then why are you here, Mel? Why are you here? Then don't care. You seem awfully upset for someone who doesn't care. Shrug. I only wanted confirmation of your thoughts. Got it.
Oh, so she wanted my opinion on something. Okay.
So yeah, so there she is again, claiming that she asked for your opinion. Well, don't know what to tell you. Sorry. You're kind of on your own on this one. Let me know how it turns out. But yeah, I side with Demi here. Peter is a manipulative piece of shit, and you play the victim frequently. Those are my thoughts. Your thoughts are garbage. Just like AO's argument.
I'm so hurt that she thinks my thoughts are garbage. I'm gonna go cry. What am I supposed to do?
Wasn't she talking about verbal abuse earlier? Constantly calling somebody a cunt once versus constantly saying that somebody is garbage and their opinions are garbage and their thoughts are garbage. Your thoughts are garbage.
I have a pretty thick skin.
Let's be fair. I probably insulted Mel more than once. I don't tend to just insult someone once. I am a bitch, but also I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm giving you my criticism as well. You are not entitled to have my criticism tied up in a neat little Christmas present after you just accused me of harassing you to the public in a way that I feel is deliberately deceitful. So go suck a dick. I don't care.
Keep in mind that there's a difference here. You made a public video publicly doing this. She is calling Steve's thoughts and Steve's arguments, even though she's misrepresenting them, garbage, as well as Demi's. Now, Demi's is a little bit more acceptable because, one, she's not saying it directly to you, but and two, if she was going to do this publicly, that would probably be fine, because then you can get pushback. Then there's opinion to be had there. There's arguments that can be made. That's fine.
And that's perfectly fine. Yeah, if she thinks my opinion is garbage, that's fine. No big deal. But she also
this is manipulative. This is manipulative and abusive behavior, especially under her own definition.
I agree with that.
I wouldn't call this abusive, except for that how many times has she said garbage?
Yeah.
1, 2, 7, a bunch. Also, what everyone's saying about you, including your friends. What?
Just out of curiosity, how many times has she said it?
You want me to count?
Well,
1,
yeah.
2. Let's count. 1, 2. I wish I had this typed, and then I could just search. 1, 2.
A significant amount of time.
3.
Yeah, you don't have to worry.
Yeah,
about it.
enough
if
times.
it's more than 4 or 5, then it's
3,
I'm not sure it's 7, but if it's more than 4 or 5, it's reasonably significant.
Yes.
Now,
5. I'm at 5.
It seems to be a lot more personal attacks against me, and I'm not trying to make personal attacks her. I'm just giving her my opinion of what I've seen and what people have told me. But I've not personally attacked her. She seems to be a lot more interested in personally attacking me.
I've got 5.
But what makes it okay for her to attack me privately in DMs, but for me to not okay for me to call her a cunt in a video?
I agree with you.
Literally coming out, calling me an erratic, all kinds of like unjustifiable claims about me.
Right.
And it's like, why is that somehow okay, but me calling you a cunt and me like insulting you like in a video is not okay?
I think you have a point.
I got a brief count of 5.
All right. So where are we at here?
What she said, your thoughts are garbage, just like AO's argument. Have fun playing with your drama.
My drama? How is this my drama?
Milk that non-sex sympathy cow as long as you can.
Now it's back to non-sec. Notice, nothing in here dealt with non-sec up to this point. And all of a sudden, Steve doesn't agree with me. I'm going to try to throw some inflammatory bomb in there and hope he tries to latch onto it, right? This hand grenade of persecution. Come on.
Yeah. Also, what everyone is, and let's see. Okay, at least you have them. Cheers.
Yeah, I didn't take the bait. I'm not an idiot.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Also, what everyone's saying about you, including your friends. So she's saying she's leaving, and like she's implying that she's leaving. You're ending the conversation for I think the second time, arguably, definitely the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Also, what everyone's saying about you, including your friends.
But why is this about me?
Indeed. Sorry, couldn't be more help. Wasn't asking for your help.
I told her about the puppy kicking, Steve. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You told her what?
How could you?
I told her about the puppy kicking, Steve.
Yeah, we all have our hobbies, right?
I was drunk, and
Here we go. And then this one. Steve said, I know that isn't the case. Keon claimed he banned Demi, and you said you often try to ban people, so you probably did report her, as you asked me to go after her again. You said she said she reported her.
Yeah.
I refused. You expect other people to fight your battles and then say it's inflammatory?
Yeah, I will correct this.
Steve, I never...
What?
Yeah, sorry?
I will correct this. She never explicitly, and I'm going to die on my sword here because, again, I had to recollect this conversation. She didn't explicitly ask me to go after Anti-Ordinary. However, that's the impression I got based upon previous experience with her, talking about her with S.J. Thomason and some other things prior to that. So this was the implicature that I got. Now, did she directly ask me? No. So I will bite the bullet on that one.
And I will bet you if you go back on your DM, she probably didn't on S.J. Thomason either. Now, Chesh made a few good points about that, but I think that's and to be fair, every now and then she contacts me and I get that impression, and then later she corrects me and says, "No, Nick, I'm not asking you to." And I was like, "Okay, then I am a little confused as to what this is about."
Why are you messaging me?
So is it inappropriate for me?
That's what I mean by slippery language.
Right. So is it inappropriate for me as a normal person to have a conversation thinking that what she's asking me, implicature wise, and like you said, with a slippery language, I think it's on purpose, because she doesn't do it to me. She did it to Nick. She does it to other people. So
here's what she's doing. She's saying, I never asked you to go after her. In fact, I repeatedly said I didn't want or need your help. No, you didn't. You said once I didn't ask for your help. You did, however, ask for a lot of things. And Steve didn't say you did in this DM, by the way. He never said that you asked for help. He said that, sorry, I couldn't be of more help. That's it.
Yeah.
That's just a kind way to end the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want or need your help. You said, I'm happy to post the DMs, that I would need your help if you, I would need your help if she did. Nope, that's not in any of the DMs you posted. You told me to make a video response.
No, I did not.
I've refused to get involved thread.
Really?
No, none of these things happened.
None of that was true.
You said what you did say, now that we've gone over the ones that she posted. You said, hey, you could make a response to this. If you don't do this, then make a response. Or if you want to do this, then make a response video. And you said that once.
Why is that bad advice?
Not repeatedly, like she claimed you did earlier.
Right. Why is that bad advice?
I think he may have said it a second time, but that
he might have said it a second time.
To the point. Yeah.
He might have said it a second time later on in the conversation, which we will get to, which is fine. But she said, "I'm happy to post the DMs." All she posted was one time. I'm just going off of what she's said so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your perpetual state of fighting and daily drama is unbecoming, inflammatory, and toxic. So you're blaming people who are being attacked. You're victim blaming here. So because people are going after Steve, he's fighting against them, and fighting against what you're defining as drama is unbecoming, inflammatory, and toxic. So you're saying that because other people decide to go after Steve because they don't like who he has on, that it's his fault. You're blaming the victim. I don't ask anyone to fight my battles. No, you don't, but you imply it. You took it upon yourself multiple times to do things you felt were helping me, but made things works. I have those DMs too. I don't care about you.
Yeah, and by the way, that goes back. Hang on one second. That goes back to where Kate and Chloe was saying something incorrect about Mel, about a situation that never happened. And I was just like I said, I thought I was trying to help her, going, "Hey, somebody's saying this about you that isn't true." I thought Mel had a right to know about that. I'm the bad guy on that. Okay.
I don't care about your problems or your fights. I don't care about your opinions. Now you're quote tweeting me as means to instigate others to join in on another episode of your look at the drama someone else said words I don't like, please follow.
Okay, wait.
Hold on. What?
Wait a second.
You want to take that?
In my video, I was pointing out to her, like when we were tweeting publicly, I said, you're deliberately retweeting me to send your followers to me instead of just having this discussion with me yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, no, I just do that for everyone. So this is another case in which you're allowed to do a behavior, but other people aren't allowed to do it, and it's attacking you.
That's a good point. Oh yeah, because I retweeted you when she lost her shit.
Yeah, she retweeted me too, and I was just like, hey, so why are you misrepresenting me?
I'm reasonably low on battery, so I probably got about 10 minutes left, just FYI.
Okay.
Okay,
we'll wrap
we're
it up
going to
soon.
go quick. So there's actually one thing in here that you guys may or may not have noticed. What was it that she was complaining that Demi said to Steve about? Was it using a word?
Mm-hmm.
And what does this all capital say? Look at the drama someone else said words I don't like. Please, followers, chime in. Really? Really? I have no interest in baiting you for a fight.
Really?
Really? Yeah, we've already demonstrated.
Yeah, that's bullshit right there.
Remotely accurate. I've already said my piece to you privately. Nothing here is new. You might want to take your own. Yeah, there's a lot of new things here. A lot of things that weren't actually said, interestingly enough, Mel. So there is some new stuff here. You might want to take your own advice of getting thicker skin and accepting criticism.
What is that? I don't understand how any of this criticism. She's telling me that. Yeah, she's telling me that she doesn't like my opinion. Okay, I accept that. Move on. What the hell? Why do I care? How is that not me accepting her criticism? Which I didn't see any of her. I didn't see any criticism of her. I saw her just trying to bait me.
I have no interest. If you or your followers insist on flooding my ats with abuse, I'll report. Now, if anybody talks to her, or
it's like
with her,
I've asked this. I go, has anybody ever had me? I've only asked certain people to report certain things, and I have done that. And I'll tell you who it is. Helena Hanzo, if you guys know who he is. When he pops up, I will let people.
Jesus,
when he pops up, I let people know, and they can go report the shit out of him. That's fine. If you want to call me bad person for that, knock yourself out.
He's insane.
But there's a reason. There's reasons why. If you know about Helena, why anybody who ever sees him pop his head up needs to go tell people. He's been banned by Twitter more than anybody else on the human planet. On the planet, because he's just that volatile and a horrible human being. But there's very few times I've asked people to to look at something, and it's usually if somebody is calling out something. I've had, like, there was one time somebody did a call out to say, hey, go after this person, and I thought that was abusive, right? That is targeted harassment. And then I'll say, hey, this is targeted. But other than that, I don't ask people, my followers, to go, hey, go downvote something, go flood something, go. I've never asked anybody that. This is why you don't see a lot of people commenting on other people's videos on this kind of stuff, because I don't do call outs like that.
I want to jump in on that.
No, not
just
Helena
for a second, because
Handbasket, Tom. What the hell's wrong with you? Helena is a fundamental Christian who basically is one of those volatile. He's a homophobic ranter, and he's just how do you not know Helena?
Yeah,
I don't know him either.
Yeah,
well, you
Go
probably
ahead,
old school,
because he does sock accounts, and then people figure out who he is pretty quickly because he's just nuts.
Yeah, you'll see a tweet here so often. Helena's really surged, and you'll see people tweet this out anymore. They're talking about a very specific guy. He's done a video about me on YouTube before.
This is so
he knows who. I
long
mean, he knows who I am because I basically told him to eat dirt, and he didn't like that.
Helios for 5 before we jump into what Nick wants to say. Mel, don't do that. It's abusive when someone other than me does that, and I do that all of the time. Yeah, probably.
All right.
Nick, go ahead.
Yes. Rush.
No, it was, I've heard the narrative several times that, Steve is asking people to do this and to go downvote people. Now, first of all, publicly, he says, don't do it. Don't do it on his behalf. He doesn't want that kind of stuff. And then the other thing is, and I've had people say, well, yeah, but we all know he does it in private. I was like, do you know how many private hangouts I've been in with Steve?
Really?
And he says the same fucking thing in private.
If that's ever happened and I've told you in private, please let me know. Because like I said, other than somebody who said that is targeting somebody, and I said this is targeted harassment, other than that, I don't. Who have I ever said that to? I've never asked people to go in private.
There's only one person that you sent me to go, and you didn't send me to go do something. You told me, oh my god, you sent me a message that said, oh my god, go look at this, LOL.
Wow.
And so I did,
Okay.
and then I decided to get involved on my own.
But that's not. I've never asked somebody, hey, go downvote this video.
Rhetoric sent me, and I was like, what?
So yeah, if you're out there, please let me know, because if I haven't asked my closest confidants. Right? I'm sure the hell I isn't going to ask some random stranger that I barely know or somebody off the internet, because my closest circle, I wouldn't even ask them to do this.
You explain in private too why you
Publicly
don't do
private,
it. Say, there are reasons why I don't do it, and you sit and you talk about it. It was like, yeah, I don't. Holy whatever.
Whatever.
So
People run narratives, but they believe what they want to believe because it's just so easy for them to do so. But go ahead, continue.
I'm gonna go quickly over these ones, and then we'll stop
sounds
there
good.
because this is ridiculous. And we were still gonna go over Holy Kool-Aid, and we were gonna do Scientist Mel interaction with me, but we don't need to. I'm not.
That's fine. Yeah, and like I said, I didn't. The whole thing with Holy Kool-Aid, we'll wrap that up with him. It's just that I expected him to message me. He never did. I was really kind of disappointed that he bought into this narrative, and that he decided to turn against me for no apparent reason. And I'm really dismayed by that. But each his own. Go with God. Tell that an atheist to go with God, whatever. But yeah, it's just whatever. I mean, he I don't know what happened to him. I honestly don't. But that's his thing. I don't really care.
Well, that I think that was a difficult thing. I think there was a lot of tension there. But
I was willing to have a conversation with him, and I have nothing.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, he slid on that hard, so to speak. It's more perverted than it should have. All right, let's keep going.
At what point does it become harassment when you've blocked someone and they continue to instigate their followers to chime in on the person who's blocked them? Navigate around a block to post screenshots of tweets pushing things further. It's pretty certain that's harassment.
Oh, harassment
Mel,
narrative. Oh.
What the hell have you been doing for like a week?
Okay. Me posting things is harassment now, and I've never asked anybody to go after her. No, never.
Hey, Steve, when did you circumvent a block?
Oh, she blocked me, and so she started still talking about me, so I posted some of the screenshots. Now, that's perfectly fine to do.
But how is that navigating around a block?
Well, because you can still read what people write when they block you.
Yeah,
and people will send me screenshots all the time.
Everybody does it. Everybody does it. So I don't understand what that's part of sort of.
But she's trying to run the narrative. Is that harassment so she can play the victim card again, this persecution porn, and then report. Remember, she reports all harassment. Did she try to report me?
Yep. Says opinion about consistently problematic person who's fighting someone every single day on Twitter, implying Steve. Them, you literally caused drama today. Let me misrepresent an entire conversation. What the fuck was this? The hell are you on about?
Yeah, that's bizarre. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, God, I hate drama. I'm making a video about you now. Mel, you did the thing you're complaining about. You need to switch them and me for you. Please do that.
And the reason why I started making a video about this is what's the C word we all love and not the one Demi keeps talking about?
Context.
Sure.
Yeah, and it takes a long time to just go through this stuff out of context. And we didn't scratch. I mean, there's a lot more probably we could have, but this is all going on 3 hours to actually explain this stuff. She thinks. Well, hang on. She thinks she can blurb something in a small tweet and mislead people. And take multiple different conversations, kind of blender them, and then say, oh, here, I'll spooge it out and go after Steve. No, we do a lot more deep dive because that's how long it takes to really explain a lot of this stuff. There's a lot of history.
What up? It's me.
Yeah.
It's me, ya boy. So Steve said, awesome. Thank you. This was directly underneath
almost near the end. Thank
the
you.
screenshots that we showed. Thank you. Now I can show the rest of the conversation in context and continually trying to manipulate me into having a conversation I wasn't interested in having. That didn't actually get shown. That's the rest of the conversation.
Which I'll show in a minute. But
I wasn't interested.
But wait,
I wasn't interested in having. Let me get through it, Steve. We're almost done.
Okay.
I wasn't interested in having. I will have a video on it on the GDC soon just to show how manipulative you were. And then so she says, but he doesn't make drama videos, guys. Poor Steve, manipulated by a broken woman, preyed upon by men who claim verbal abuse daily and screams harassment. This, my friends, is what we call projection. I imagine Steve will complain for a while.
First of all, I'm scared of yes, I'm scared of
you,
Cheshire.
Steve.
Yes, I am. But is there a word for people calling people projection that are doing the projection? Is there like a double projection thing?
Projection inception.
Yeah.
Projection inception.
Projection. There you go. Who said that? Was that Demi?
That was Demi.
Demi, win! You won the internet today. Yes.
Yay!
Projection inception. That's really. God, that's good. Okay, so she was manipulating me in that DMs. That was clear that she was trying to bait me.
Yeah, she was trying to bait you, then she was trying to make you feel bad, but even later on, she's trying to do that a little bit more in the rest of the things. Particularly when the conversation isn't constructive or useful in any form or fashion. I also ignore hate videos and response videos about me. I only take criticism from people whose opinions matter. If your opinion doesn't matter, I'm not going to listen to it. So not only are you using inflammatory language, but you're also saying that you ignore hate videos, which we can already show you that you fucking did not ignore it at all.
Yeah. Wait, if she ignores hate videos, why'd she watch a video, Demi? She honestly didn't think it was a hate video. I don't know.
And the conversation wasn't constructive because you only listened. You didn't listen to what was being said. There was constructive criticism in there, and even if you don't agree with it, that doesn't make it not constructive. You decided that the conversation wasn't constructive because it didn't agree with you. I will happily take criticism from anyone who has shown a genuine care for me as a human being and who want to help me grow as a good person. No, you don't. You don't give a shit. Anyway.
I used to sit there while she's talking to me about her fucking pathetic existence on the phone for fucking hours, just sat there listening to her bitch and cry, and I'm just like, how am I not that person you're describing? How am I not a person that's shown you kindness?
Well, let me get through this real quick.
And there's claims that Steve is a malignant narcissist. She goes after Nick here, and
wait.
Yeah.
Go show that
Right
real
here.
quick. I'm sorry, I covered that up real quick. I didn't mean to.
it says
This is the Jimmy narrative. This is the certain people narrative that I'm. If you look at the malignant narcissist checklist, I don't meet any of those criteria whatsoever. I've seen malignant narcissists, people that post themselves all the time. Trump is a malignant narcissist. I think Mr. Atheist is a malignant narcissist. I think Kyle is a narcissist. I'm sorry, but I have nothing in common with those people whatsoever.
Yeah. So real quick, what I want to say here is Mel never explicitly says anything. Mel does not explicitly call Steve a narcissist. What she does is she says she's retweeting and commenting, saying to somebody saying he's a malignant narcissist who is wounded and is lashing out. She responds with, "He gets silence from me now. He can scream into the void." Somebody again saying he's a narcissist. They tend to want any kind of attention. She's encouraging this without saying it explicitly and implying that she agrees.
Yeah, well, that one Jen person is one of the woke folk that is part of that whole, I think, objectively subjective crowd.
It doesn't matter who they are.
Anyways, and I blocked her. But anyways, this is the rest of the conversation, and I'm sorry it is this way because, again, you blocked me, so I don't have the DMs, and I don't know if you guys can see it. Can you see it, Josh? Yeah, you can see it.
I can't see it right now.
You can't see it?
Like on the outside or on the inside?
You're gonna look on the outside. I'm sorry.
I can't see anything.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna read it to you real quick. And so, I say bye. This is, by the way, if this number here, you can see here's her ID, so you can go verify that. But I say bye. Oh, she says bye, and I say, of course. Oh, she says, of course, bye, Mr. Last Word. And I say, please stop. You're harassing me now. And the reason why I said this is because this is going back to remember her saying, stop. I don't want to talk about this. And she claimed I was harassing her if I continued. Stop means no, right? No means no. And I say, she says, harassment is unwarranted contact. Jesus Christ. Yes, you're vapid and shallow for your comments. Again, going after me because I didn't agree with her. Asking you to stop. And I said, okay, asking you now to stop. Please respect my wishes. Good luck. This is me. Right?
Yep.
This is me. And again, this is exactly what she kept telling, say, I've asked you to stop, Steve. And she went to her followers. Steve didn't stop. And by the way, I did, which is the funniest thing. So she lied about that.
Do you notice also that she switched the definition of harassment now? This is the same conversation that's still been going on. She used a different definition of harassment earlier when she said that Demi was harassing and also that it was abusive behavior.
I think I don't know if she changed it or was more inclusive, but you can make a case for that. But yeah, this is the same conversation that she didn't show. She says verbal abuse is abuse. No means no. Read a psych book and learn about consent. Holy shit. Really, Mel? Really? I'm asking you to stop. She's saying no means no. Read a psych book and learn about consent? This would be, by the way, my recipient number.
As of right now in the conversation, you are saying, I don't want to have this conversation anymore. Please stop.
Yes.
And she's saying that you said this is harassment if you keep going. Please leave me alone, by her definition, of course. And then she's saying that verbal abuse is abuse. No means no. Read a psych book and learn about consent. Steve is no longer consenting to the conversation.
Thank you. And then she says, the event with you was centered around personal trauma. I get this doesn't matter with you. This goes back to where she misunderstood what I was trying to explain to her about somebody saying something about her that was false. I don't know why she's bringing this up now. And then I say, that's your last word. Strange, but okay. Talk to you later. I'm off to watch my TV, which I tell a lot of people, I'm off to watch TV. And I literally, I'm not even kidding. I go watch my laptop and I put on a show.
Yeah, he does that all the time.
And I really do mean that. I'm not blowing anybody off.
DMs, I don't care.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is, this is my downtime. I go binge watch things. Okay. People know I watch a lot of binge watching. Like Chicago Med is one I'm binge watching now. She says, everything is not a panic attack. What a vapid thing to say. There might be something missed there. I don't know. Again, this is a data dump.
I don't know, but she was the one complaining about causing other people causing panic attacks because you were asking her or trying to explain something to her.
Yeah, and if she's having panic attacks, then stop the conversation, which is fine, but don't go on your page for 4 more days and have 1,000 tweets that I can't respond to saying what a bad person I am and causing you panic attacks. I mean, good grief, Mel. And then I say, good luck. Now I ask you to stop. I have nothing further to add. So say your last words so I can go watch TV. You know what? Maybe I have this. Maybe this is backwards. That's what it is. I just realized that. We're going backwards in the conversation. That's how you read this.
Yeah,
interesting. Yes. Okay. We're reading this backwards. I'm not upset over AO. And I said, like I said, Mel, you're far too easily upset by shit that happens on Twitter. You're thin-skinned and everything is a panic attack or abuse or harassment to you. Then what are you even doing on the internet? I don't know. You do you, but I can tell you people are getting tired of it. And again, then she goes in to talk about the incident I was talking about. But then, but I kept telling her to stop. And she just simply wouldn't. And so
that's the thing she says. That's the thing that she is referring to at the very beginning when she says that his last words to me was that you were harassing me. Yeah, because he asked you to stop the conversation, asked you to leave nicely multiple times, and you refused and told him he needed to understand consent. And you spent half of the time in your tweets blaming the victim. Oh, Steve has drama on his channel. Oh, Steve is getting attacked and is in fights about drama all the time on Twitter. Yeah, look at what you're doing. Stop blaming the victim. But
this all exacerbates that drama, right? I didn't say anything from Elle for months, and yet she's the one that's perpetuating the drama, and then goes back and does exactly what I said she was going to do.
This is all Demi's fault.
Well, of course, everything's Demi's fault.
I think that's a good point. I think Demi, yeah.
Yeah, Demi, if you had not made that video and I had not agreed with you because I'm willing to stand up for what I think is right, God forbid.
Let's not bother with reasons. Let's just make up stuff and just blame Demi. I think that's
blame Demi.
fucking bit.
Like I said,
and I just wanted to stir the pot, and I decided, do you know what? I need to fight for the meme liberation of 2019.
Liberate the memes.
Exactly.
Yeah, liberate the memes. Wow, this was
I would like
a
to point out,
this was a
I'd like to
show.
point out real quick that again,
Sure.
you guys are still behind the curve on this one because I definitely got blocked by her ages ago. And what happened with me is she claimed that we were having conversations about rape apologetics and shit, and somebody said, "Oh yeah, but look at all the women who get raped. Are they lying?" And I was just like, "Women? Were you looking for statistics about how often women lie? What are you talking about?" And they tagged in scientist Mel, and so she posted the stats, and I'm like, great, these stats don't matter to what we're talking about. She then retweeted and said that essentially that I don't care, implied that I don't care about these statistics. I said, that's not what I said. And she said, okay, well, let's have a conversation about this. I said, when and where, and then she just
And then she
bitched out.
disappeared, right?
She said I was being rude to her, and she's like, well, my DMs are open. I'm like, no, you publicly said I did something.
Thank
You
you.
publicly called me out, and I'm going to keep it public. I'm not going to go into your
And
DMs.
that is my motto. Look, I've had people say things in public, and when I say, okay, where's the evidence for this? And they go, well, and just go private. No. I know that you're full of shit. I know that there's so much spin and manipulation out there, and I think my audience is starting to, over the years, recognize this. I get more and more people telling me, fuck, Steve, we could definitely see what you're talking about. These people are fucking insane, and they're running script, and all they do is think about me and other people constantly try to smear us. That's okay. All it does is help us in the long run. My numbers have not gone down.
Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons.
But I want people to. But hang on. I want people to use it as a way to see smear, because you know what? If it happened to us, it can happen to you very easily. But we're willing to stick our necks out and have dialogues. We're willing to take a stance, and we may not always agree with each other. Me, Demi, Chess, Nick, and we disagree on a lot of things. But that's what makes us friends.
Oh, we're not
I'm going to disagree with you.
I will cut you.
Wrong.
I will cut you.
No, we need to correct one thing, because this is important.
Violence.
It wasn't Chesh's fault. It was Demi's fault. I don't know why, but it was Demi's fault, and I want to stick with that
All right,
narrative.
Demi, go ahead. Explain yourself, girl. All your fault.
It's
Damn
all your
you.
fault. All of it. Trump's election, Demi. Totally
Yeah,
Demi.
thanks for Trump, Demi.
Yeah.
In London.
Thanks for climate change,
Yes.
Demi. Thanks for global warming.
That's how evil she is.
It was all the Russian bots she got.
You know what? I threw
Yeah.
Hold on. Demi is slipping. I threw her a softball and she didn't take it. I said, thanks for global warming. And she should have said, yeah, because I'm so fucking hot. But no, she didn't take advantage of that one. That was a softball.
Another mistake.
Another mistake. Blame Demi.
I think we've got the. Yep.
You're slipping, Demi.
So I would like to point out that essentially the main reason we're covering these things and the reason why this is a jump off from last week is that this is the kind of behavior we're talking about. It was important that we frame this
Yes.
around like an outside. Now it's time to turn the cameras inward and see this going on in our own communities. This is happening. People are doing this. We all know Jimmy does it. We all know GE and KC were doing it. We pointed out Whole Lake Kool-Aid in one of our first Caffeine Corners doing this exact behavior. But now you can rewatch that episode with the understanding of what we described in the last video and the last couple videos before that about what gaslighting is and why these narratives being pushed is a problem. It's one thing if she wanted to push a narrative to make herself look better in a situation. But she actively went out of her way to bring this up on something where Nick was saying something nice about Steve.
Very
it wasn't
nice.
like he was saying anything even egregiously nice. He was saying that, listen,
Very
Steve's
nice.
not right 100% of the time, but he's not wrong 100% of the time either. And there's a bunch of people out there that are trying to say he's 100% wrong about everything, and you just shit on anything that he does, no matter what it is. And so Scientist Mel comes in and shits on it.
I think Nick was probably I think Nick knows deep down inside I'm probably more right, much more right than wrong. I like vastly so. But but that's for the long game.
But
Most of the time I'm not shown to be right till
can't
long
say-
time afterwards.
I can't even say Steve isn't wrong 100% of the. If I don't say Steve is, I literally say Steve isn't wrong 100% of the time. Poof.
You're
jumped on.
attacked, yeah. But you're
yeah,
but
exactly.
but you
and then Mel comes in.
but you have agreed. My track record of being right is pretty impressive.
And according
Oh, you're-
to Mel, what she did, by her definition, is abusive, harassment, and bad behavior that should not be happening because she misrepresented a conversation.
Yep. Well,
And she took her complaints about a private interaction and brought them public.
yeah, and like I said, I've blocked her. She's blocked me.
Debbie suicided Epstein.
By the way, it's her last name is Clinton. By the way, if you didn't know that, Demi Clinton. But yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people will be like, "Oh my God, you're picking on scientist Mel," blah blah blah. You know what? I don't care about any of that. She's made some comments. We addressed them.
So
We
you think she's
shown.
gonna play the victim? What
Well,
do you
we
mean?
show.
We're
I
blocked?
mean,
And
and
she
look,
doesn't.
I.
She doesn't watch people's opinions that don't
Well,
matter.
yeah, but
She
her
doesn't look at that
followings
'cause it's not
do.
real criticism.
Look at Mel is good at a science communication for the most part. She's really she's very well educated, right? And if she would have stuck with that, she probably would have been okay. But she decided to lay down with people that I think are horrible people, and they've fed into this persecution porn. They fed into this narrative that she's running, and I don't have anything to do with those people, and I don't have anything to do with Mel.
Listen,
But
if she publicly says anything about this on her own, essentially, then you know she's lying. Like she said, she doesn't care about people's opinions that don't matter. She ignores criticism from people that she doesn't care about. Or
yeah, but
that don't care
look
about
who she's
her
getting
as a human
advice
being.
from. I'm not going to mention names, but you know as well as I do.
Well, that's fine.
And I'm sorry, but those people she's getting advice from. Yeah, okay, you do you. Go for it. Look how well
Yeah, I
look
don't
how well
even
that worked
care,
out for
yeah.
some other people that took advice from them.
I think Brian might have missed part of the conversation.
Brian
She
triggered.
misrepresented a conversation. Holy fuck, how dare she? Yeah, according to her definition, not ours.
Yeah. These again using her own arguments. This is what we like to do. We like to talk about people's arguments. That's why I privately told Mel about her victimization and her persecution and all that stuff. Even though I've gone public on it, but I was trying to keep a lot of that under wraps for a very long time because it didn't deal with any of the arguments. But she kind of forced my hand on the issue. So, but. Anyways,
Well, yeah, she showed the DMs, so we needed to actually. She gish galloped. She put so much shit just in that first amount of tweets that we actually had to go through. This is why we decided to do a response video rather than try to address it on Twitter, because it's a lot easier for us to go, okay, so here's what she said, and here's what it says in the DMs that she posted. Here's what it says, and here's what it says in the DMs that she posted.
Yep, that's exactly it.
We can actually show you. So
Okay.
look out for these people doing it, or anybody doing this kind of thing, or talking about a private conversation with only one person there having the conversation.
Right.
Just be skeptical.
Be skeptical. Oh yeah, there you go. Critical thinking. All right, let's wrap this up. Nick, are you still your phone's still live?
Yep.
You want to wrap it up? You got anything to add? By the way, I just if people wonder why I'm like going like this. My electric razor died today, and I had to use a blunt razor, and I ran out of shaving cream. Bad idea. A little scratchy, and I can feel it, and it feels weird. I don't like it.
Lord, this was a long show.
I don't know why people tell. It feels like it's itching. That's why I keep scratching my face. It's not like I'm going through like heroin withdrawals or something. But anyways, you want to wrap it up, Nick?
Yeah.
It really is itchy.
I think we covered it. Like I said, I think that there were people have not remembered all the conversations accurately, and that's why access to the DMs is important. But I think the biggest thing is I think it would have been best for everyone if should have stayed out of it, and I'm still not entirely sure why to start this in the first place.
Awesome. Thank you, man. And Demi, you got anything to leave us with? And by the way, thank you for joining us. It's probably running late for you right now. Oh, no, it's about 9 o'clock your time.
Yeah, it's only 9 o'clock. No,
You're about ready to head out to go clubbing, right? Go ahead.
I think there's a massive disconnect between certain kinds of behavior. Like my attitude and my behavior is often highlighted quite frequently as being unproductive or not helpful. But then people like Mel, and this behavior is common. People are passive aggressive all of the time. And that's completely fine until someone responds actively aggressive, and then that's bad. And I feel like we really need to look at our own community and recognize a double standard.
I agree with you, and I that's one of the reasons why I love this community that has been cultivated. They're not ideological people. They're not looking for any agenda. They're just looking for entertainment, critical thinking, discussions, and I'm glad we provided that, especially the fact that we're still waiting for, it's going to be several weeks before we get the NonSequitur show back, so I'm glad people are entertained by this, and people learn, and people can see what's going on, because again, Chester and I, we do a decent job doing analysis. This is what I was doing on the NonSequitur show. This is what Kyle and I did, was try to do a fair analysis. I'm happy that people are enjoying it very much. This begins to get pretty popular.
I think that Mel would be one of the people that I would warn against engaging with on Twitter, if you value your account, that she's not interested in having a conversation with you. She's demonstrated that she's not interested in having a conversation, and she's also demonstrated that she's perfectly fine with weaponizing the Twitter reporting system.
That's a good point. Yeah, I concur with that. There's certain people that once I find out that they're weaponizing the abuse or the Twitter system, and they're
if you want to
like
have a
that,
conversation with her face to face, if you want to bring her onto a show and have a conversation with her, that's a totally different thing.
Sure.
If you want to engage her elsewhere on different topics, absolutely.
But not on Twitter.
Engaging her on Twitter is not going to be a good approach.
Yeah, and I agree with that 1,000%. This is why we on the Great Debate Community channel, the other channel that I have, we do a lot more of this regular hangouts, and people come in and we have conversations. Like Helios is going to come in on Wednesday. We're going to have a conversation. People can join us. If Mel ever wanted to come in and have a conversation, I'd be happy to have a conversation with Mel. But I know she won't, because to her, she'll take that as, that she's being victimized or she's being bullied or being harassed. And we showed last week what real harassment is, what cyberbullying really is. And a show that I'm very proud of. And I'm sorry that I had to disable the comments, but I want people to recognize that video for what it is. And there's a lot more to that going on, but we're not going to worry about that. There's a point where you got to say, look, if you don't recognize cyberbullying when you see it, there's nothing else I can do.
Or spinning a narrative.
Or spinning a narrative, right.
This is what we want you guys to be able to recognize.
Right.
That's all. Also, yeah, I think Demi is the one who actually staged the entire Kyle NonSequitur takeover. That's my
There we
theory.
go. I knew it.
Well, I think we should leave it with that then and not let Demi
She's
define
actually got all
herself.
the money. We know Kyle doesn't. Well, we don't know. We don't think Kyle has the money. Demi's actually the one who's got it all.
It's how I paid for all these lights.
Okay, we'll leave it with
Explains
this.
everything.
Super chat. Helios again. $2. Mel, the biological Twitter weapon. BTW. Smitty says, did you disable the comments? I did disable the comments on the cyberbullying video because the comments on there were not. Yeah, they basically was just coming over to harass. That you're not going to cyberbully on my video. And I asked 5 people, literally 5 people, don't tag me. You can talk about what you want. I don't care. But stop tagging me, because I get a notification on my email every time somebody tags me, and I'm like,
And that one is actually a system where you have to actively tag every time.
right. And I asked them not to, and they continued to, and I was like, okay, I'll just disable the comments. It makes no difference to me. That video is not monetized. That video was not for anybody else's edification except for my audience, and to see firsthand what cyberbullying looks like. It's not supposed to be for anybody else. And so, yeah, I don't mind disabling comments for that. And I do monitor my comments. People that just leave nasty anti-Semitic comments or things like that, they're just gone.
Yeah.
All right. With
job.
that,
That was long.
that was long.
We did it.
That was a lot longer than expected. We did it. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you Wednesday with Helios.
Oh.
And also,
If anybody wants the receipts from Mel targeting me or misrepresenting me, and you're welcome to hit me up. You're not going to be able to hit me up on Twitter for a couple of days, but if you hit me up later, I can send those to you if you want I just told the story. I have the receipts if you're interested in them.
Oh yeah, and you should go watch my video about Mel.
Yeah,
and
go watch
Peter.
Demi's video.
yeah,
so we actually
I will
know
put
what
that.
Mel
I'll tell you what. I will put that in the
upset
video description a few minutes after it uploads. Okay, is that fair?
Thank you.
I don't have any videos on anybody.
I will put your in time.
I feel left out.
No, go subscribe to
Make
Nick.
one on me.
And I'm going to show myself. I'm going to put my Patreon in there because I'm literally surviving off that right now. And my Patrons have been amazing. And I want to give them good content. I'm just asking them to bear with me a little while longer because I got a lot of stuff. We're working on a lot of planned stuff. It's just, we have
People
to
are
wait.
bugging me to bug you that my Patreon isn't in the description, and it needs to be apparently.
I could rectify that immediately.
And also, Nick has, if there is anybody who doesn't know what went on with NonSequitur, go check out In Time's video about it. It's a really good breakdown.
Yeah,
Well,
Nick
thank you.
does
Too
a
long
great job.
didn't watch. I tricked Kyle so I could buy heroin.
Demi, do you have a Patreon so you can buy heroin and sex toys?
Pretty much. That's my whole life. Heroin and sex toys and pink lights.
I love the lighting. That looks
I thought you were
great.
gonna say. I swear to God, that's going to say I love
Jealous.
heroin. I was like, okay, good night,
Well, I mean, that's a different conversation.
bye.